which if you want to say that's a delusion, that's fine.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You're listening to the Here for the Clout podcast. Here are your hosts, Sherilyn Dale and Cece Suarez. Yeah, baby.
Hello, Clout Queens, Kings, and in-betweens. Welcome back to the Here for the Clout podcast. My name is Cece Suarez. It feels weird calling myself Cece. I hate that. Hi, I'm Chelsea Suarez, one of your hosts, and this busty little bumblebee is Sherilyn Dale.
I do look busty. I put nipple covers on today, which is like shocking because I never do that. And then Clout Baby, she was like, I want those too. So I just made random ones for her. Gotta teach them young or else you're gonna end up like me.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Free the nipple.
Free the nipple. Today they are not. Even for me, I was like, that's pushing it.
Yeah, because then that one's always staring at me.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you can kind of see the outline of the cover, but you know what? It's better than the outline of the nipple. Anyways, how are you guys
close?
doing?
Do you think I'm getting it? Am I pinching your arm or your nipple? Kaya, make it happen.
It feels like we haven't recorded forever, but everybody doesn't feel like it's been forever.
We missed Tuesday's episode. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. All right.
Did we?
Well, it's Wednesday.
Oh, well, it can go live.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we do.
Do?
Yeah, it's the Airbnb disaster.
That was Friday's episode.
No.
Oh, God. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either. And now I'm second guessing everything.
Oh, my gosh. We do have one for yesterday.
Yeah, the Airbnb destroyed in the viral TikTok. That's 77. So, yeah, we're good to go, babe.
God, look at us. Well, actually, we're still a day late, so want to go ahead and make that one live?
Sure.
Yay. Anyways, I do have a comment call out. If I start crying at all during this episode, I'm very sorry. I'm also not, because I'm allowed to have emotions. It's my nanny's last day with us. Not okay. So there's that. I cried on a YouTube live stream this morning about it. So anyways, here is a comment call out from Abby Rose _01. And she said, Cher being so deadpan with arguably cocaine is a pretty hardcore drug completely cracked me up. That isn't the most pure interaction between two neurodivergent girlies, I don't know what is. Because really,
I feel like I have to
that's me in all my relationships. No, I loved it. I was like, oh yeah, I did like cocaine. Oops. Listen, when you say hardcore, I'm thinking like meth or heroin. Cocaine's,
yeah.
I
just felt like we were from the era where, we weren't even, we were from the era that was coming out of it being so like normalized. And I know that that's not normal at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm the same way. It was coke. Like, oh yeah, you're going to do some cocaine?
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, oh, you're doing heroin. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Like heroin and meth aren't passed around at parties. Right?
No.
But
not any parties that I've been to.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's where that comes from. I don't know.
That's a really good explanation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen heroin or meth?
No, never. Never. I feel like I'm quite sheltered like in the world of drugs. Obviously, I've seen weed. I've seen mushrooms, but only once, which is like that's like nowadays, like people are just like taking it for like medicinal purposes. Well, I think they always were, but anyways, it's becoming much more like mainstream. But like really like cocaine.
It's just really scary.
I've never even seen like acid. Brent said that like for me, I thought acid was like a pill, and maybe it is, but he described it as like a little sheet. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. He told me that because I think he did acid and went to like one of the most messed up movies you could probably The Cell with Jennifer Lopez. No, that is like the one. I was like, how did you and like his best friend John? I don't know. I'm like, how did you guys come out of that alive? Can you imagine? I've never even done it, and I'm like, I'm still traumatized from that movie.
I'm gonna throw up.
I know.
Like, girl, watching that movie sober.
I know. That would be my purgatory. I think that's what would be like.
Why'd you bring that movie up? I have a tummy ache.
I'm sorry. Let's get going. I'm actually so excited to talk about today's episode.
I'm stressed. I have so much I have to do.
This is going to make you feel better.
I hope, because I'm literally about to throw up.
Because of the cell?
I don't know.
Don't throw up.
I might. Okay, let's get into it, shall we?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Okay,
Okay,
you do it, because I'm gonna be trying not to throw up this whole time.
Why are you going to throw up?
That movie scares me.
Oh my, Kate, we didn't talk about it. Reset.
Okay, let's get into it. Who's involved? Kendra. This name Kendra. She lives in Tucson. Got it. Okay. Start going through everything like that.
I like it.
Her bio states ADHD mindset coach. Oh no.
Okay, so here's a little backstory. So I feel like this is going viral AF right now, and I'm really nervous about how this is going to end up. I feel like we're going to go on a roller coaster, but also not really. I will say this. It seems like she's very aware of the perception that she does give people, because this gal that we're about to go on this journey with, Kendra, you're going to be going through all the motions. You're going to be like, babe, oh, that's messed up. Oh, wait, babe, is this a you thing? Are you okay? Am I victim blaming? Are you in psychosis right now? What are you doing? Are you in a relationship with your chat GPT? Also, there's a lot going on. And so she is aware, like, she's like, I get everyone's concerned for me. I'm fine. So I don't know. I feel like this is literally just something we all have to go through together. That's why we're here anyway, right? Like, we're all just hanging out together. So we're going to hang out with Kendra today, and her series has gone viral.
Wait,
that is called...
hold on. Kelly said here that, like, the girl's motto is helping ADHDers
get sober.
And stay sober.
Yeah.
Sober
yeah,
from
so that's
what?
another side quest. I think like alcohol and like addiction, because I think she even explains it, and I've heard that too. Like, if you have ADHD, like, you are like more inclined to be like
a
more
lot of
like
times
addicted and
you'll have more of
fixated
like
on-
a addictive personality.
yeah, to things. So
You
I think
qualified
that
to do Do you have any formal training?
I don't know. I guess we would. I think Kelly has some screenshots here. I don't. Spiritual response therapy. She's done. Well, she does call herself a practitioner.
Girl,
So
I can call myself a practitioner.
Yeah.
ADHD
and then she's
mindset
also a
coach.
yoga teacher.
Spiritual response therapy. What?
There's a lot going on. Okay.
I don't.
That's not why we're here, though. We can discuss this later, but I feel like the issue at hand is that she's sharing her story right now about falling in love with her psychiatrist, and that the psychiatrist kept her on.
Ew.
And
that's inappropriate.
let's just see. Here's the thing. I don't know. We're going through this together, okay? We have to go through this together.
Okay.
I don't know if it was more so of like he was worried about her. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just...
So she's been sober for 4 years. She does like TikTok and stuff, which she doesn't look like she's like an influencer by any means. She's not. She's a yoga teacher, retail worker, shares health gym content as well as ADHD hacks. You know, the 5 to 9 after the 9 to 5. Yeah. 15,000 followers. And let's go ahead to part 1.
All of her comments are off. She did turn the comments off. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going in this together, guys.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he knew, and he kept me until I had the strength to leave after 4 years. Here it is, part 1. So I decided to go back on ADHD meds after many years of being off of them. I was on them in my early 20s to help me get through college. And then I went off of them because they just weren't, like, the side effects were too much over the benefits. But then in my late 20s, I read this book, Taking Charge of Adult ADHD, and it absolutely changed my life. For my fellow ADHDers, there's so many good things in here. And the biggest thing that I took away was that it's very important for ADHDers to be on meds. So I decided to make an appointment with a psychiatrist. I just Googled psychiatry in the city that I lived in, and I went with the first one that came up, and I
Okay, it sounded like we were on a plane for the first part of that.
She does, yeah, she does have this one, like almost like white sound. I don't know, like if she's bringing us down with, like in the tunnel that she has on a lot of her videos, and sometimes it's a little bit louder, sometimes it's not. Yeah, it is distracting.
an appointment within a month. And then I booked a 90-minute intake, and I show up to the intake, and this man is my age, and I can't help but notice that he's pretty attractive, this psychiatrist.
Okay, so it's the next one that she posted.
Yeah, like this.
Okay.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he kept me anyway, part 2. So in this intake, you know, I kind of clocked that he was attractive in my age, but when I tell you that I've had a lot of couch time in my life, a lot of therapy, you know, I just went right into it. I trusted him enough, of course, why wouldn't I, to tell him about my childhood trauma, my daddy issues, if you will, what I had went through, all of the relationship trauma that I had. I was 6 months sober at this time, but like all of the drinking and substance use I used to do, and he just listened and nodded. And that's the thing about psychiatrists, is that they're good at pretending to listen. They can appear connected, but that doesn't mean that they're always connected. So I just felt really seen. And I also told him, I was like, look, I don't want to be on stimulant meds. So he listened to me, and he put me on the non-stimulant ADHD med at the lowest dose just to figure out if it was going to work for me. I was in love with my psychiatrist, and he kept me anyway, part 3. So I hadn't ever seen a psychiatrist before. When I was on meds in my early 20s, I only got meds from my primary care physician. So I didn't understand how psychiatry works. So because he was figuring out my med dose, I saw him every month, and he just made me feel like I was his friend. He was really, really funny and cracked jokes, and told me he was impressed with my running that I would do. And yeah, so of course I loved the attention that I got from him. And it was in my 3rd session with him, because at this point we were all on Zoom, that
We're gonna go through it today.
That's weird. That's after she says each thing, I'm like, but he's your psychiatrist. He's your psychiatrist. Oh, Lord. So, Kendra, how have you been? You know, I've just been seeing this new guy. We only, see each other like once a month. He listens to me so well.
But like, this is his job, right? And it's like, I also feel like he's encouraging her, like, of doing things, being active. It's his fucking job.
Yeah. He takes an interest in my mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going.
Oh,
I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if I call you by your first name? And he's Pakistani, so I said his first name wrong. And he said, well, it's pronounced this, but yes, of course you can. And he seemed so smug and happy with himself. And I know that you need to stop reading smut books, because that is what you have gotten into.
And here's the thing, right? Because like, we weren't in the room. We don't know, but I feel like any interaction, like if you have an idea of it, you are going to pick up on those, like on whatever sign you want to.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Confirmation bias.
Right. Like you're just like, oh, was that but maybe it was like, of course you can. Like, we don't know, but like for her, she's so in.
Yeah.
Like she admits, like she's
especially
obsessed.
because they're the same age as well. Like like my primary care doctor, like but anyone in my family who sees him calls him, or I mean at least me and my dad do, call him Cheech. And that's his nickname. Mm-hmm. And like we're members of like the same like social clubs, and like I see him out, and like he follows my Instagram, and like but that's, and I mean he's attractive. Yeah, but you're just not like, oh, like I went today and
got my mole checked and I really felt the sparks. Like, I don't know.
And he brushed up against my chest.
And keep
Chelsea,
in mind also,
he was using a stethoscope.
They're on Zoom as well. So
she hasn't even
keep
seen
that in. Not yet. Okay, so I think that I kept forgetting that. So this is also Zoom, okay? All right.
This is weird.
That is because that was his first sign that him pretending like we're friends was working. And to be fair to me, I had only ever been to therapy before. I didn't realize that.
Pretending we're friends is working. Working for what? Working for whomst?
She's saying that this was like all his plan and that he like basically accusing him of being like sick and having like wanting this relationship with a patient and like doing all of the things to like lead
like
up
the
to make a patient obsessed with him and in love with him. So this is his plan. This was his plan, is how she's presenting this story.
You know, it's important to call your doctor last name. I mean, I did know that. I did it with all my other doctors, but it just showed that the boundaries were blurring, and he liked that. So from then on, from my third session on, I started calling him his first name.
Like, this is where I'm like, girl, you know nothing about protective language and you need to.
Yeah.
Because I'm really nervous for her. She's going, and he liked it. The way she's saying it is, these are facts.
Yeah.
This is factual. You liked it. Not, it felt to me that he liked it. I felt like he liked it. She's like, and she does this a lot.
So is his...
She said his name. She's slipped on his name. So she said his first name. She slipped on it, but left the video up. And now she's mad at everybody for doxing him and being like, don't do that. If you see that, like, report it as doxing. That's not my intention. It's to share my story, and I'm allowed to do that because he did this to me. So this is a storm.
So, okay, so she turned off all the comments. But before she did that, were the comments in support of her or being like,
no.
girl?
No.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Some are obviously like, because she'll get into it too. She's saying like, I'm wanting to tell my story because like I feel bad, right? Because I get it. Like, I've been in the seats. I've never had this experience, but not to say that it doesn't happen. I totally get that it can happen, but even though she says she's doing okay, I am worried because I'm like, you are still so hyper fixated and obsessed with this. And she has acknowledged, like, I guess people were asking, like, do you also have BPD? And I'm like, babe, like, yeah, like, I can see how something like this can happen. Like, being an ADHD and a BPD girl in myself, like, it can be scary. It can be a slippery slope if you are not aware of your diagnosis and what to do with it, and then sit back and be like, oh, this is obsessive. This is beyond ADHD obsessive. Oh. Yeah. So, you know, like those are two different things. Oh, and when you got them together, it's
explosion. It's really and obviously, not that we need to say it. Guess what? We're not doctors. We're not diagnosing someone. If you're coming here for facts, why?
Go.
Anyway.
No, don't leave us.
Yeah, well, obviously, don't leave us, please. We need you. But it's just funny when people are like, you're acting like you're an expert. No,
I'm not an expert. I'm just saying from my personal experience for sure. So yeah, like, please don't. I'm just literally just talking with you guys. And so that makes me worried for her because like, she's not seeing him now, but I can see that she's still so hyper fixated on this scenario. And I get it. She wants to share her story, but I'm worried with her.
She's about to catch a restraining order, I bet.
Yeah. Her choice of words is accusatory. And to say things like, you don't know how he was thinking in that moment. So and he liked it. Like, there'll be more situations getting deeper.
That's why I was asking with the comments, like, how are people receiving it? Because if people were in support of her, I mean, that
feeds the delusion.
But then also, like, that could ruin his career.
Yes.
In terms of, like, the whole defamation thing you're bringing up. But yeah, that's, wow.
Yeah. So the comments have said that as well.
Okay,
like, are
good.
you aware, like, this could ruin his career? And she still is very much of the mind frame that, like, Don't dox him. Sorry I said his first name. Don't say his last. Don't put his pictures in my comments. It'll be immediately deleted. I'm here to share my story, and I have the right to do that. And she's right. She has the right to share her story, but babe, unless you've got proof. Oh, I forgot an important thing. She says she does have proof of one session where she recorded it and where she told him that she had a crush on him. So, anyways, we just have to keep going.
Like Lisa stalked by feds with that body cam. Okay.
Oh, no.
And then he just started turning up the volume on us being friendly. And he would ask me, for the first 6 sessions, he asked me, after the meds, he said, how's your bowels, bladder, and appetite? And I would say they're all normal. And then he would ask me any thoughts of harm. And apparently that's pretty common for psychiatry to ask those questions. And then on our 6th session, when things...
Hey, you want to kill yourself? That's me flirting with you. Like, what the...
Chelsea.
Like, that's the most...
That's
like, that's the most... Like, what's your weight? How's your mood over the last 2 weeks? 1 out of 10.
Since you've started your meds.
Yeah, well, and yes, but
Yes.
if you're going back to like getting your like refills and stuff, it's a lot of us girlies will do the 3-month and then just, and I've made the joke before to my doctor of, because like what questions are going to ask if you've been doing this for years and years. So it's like, I weigh this much, appetite's great, sleeping great, don't want to kill myself, staying focused on work, like generally pretty happy, anxiety's at a level, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Me and mine are way past that. I just phone in and he's like, how are you? I'm like, you sound stressed. He's like, I am.
Yeah.
Are we good? Same dose? We're good? I'm like,
Exactly.
good.
Yeah. Same with me and Cheech. Like we'll do a Zoom call or whatever, and it's not even Zoom. He'll like FaceTime me and like, hey, what you doing? She's working. What are you doing? Just hanging out. Okay, we'll get back to work.
Yeah. It's so I don't know. I get that she's said that she has experience with like therapy and stuff like that. So we have to keep going.
But I don't want to, Shirley.
It is hard.
We're really, the chemistry was starting to be there before. Like, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, this man is just friendly. And he said, I have to ask this because it's a special interest of mine. But is there any thoughts of harm? Like, I was special to him. And I said, no thoughts of harm.
Okay, we got to stop there for 1 second because I think she's misunderstanding what like special interest means. Like that is like your like, as far as I know, like from like being working for a plastic surgeon, his like sub interest or special interest was breast reconstruction. So yes, you're in school for, like your general practice, but then oftentimes you'll have your special interest.
Yeah.
And that's like what you specialize in.
Well, yeah, it's like
but the way I'm
commentary.
perceiving what she's saying is special interest, like in that she's special. And that makes
in your well-being and you not wanting to kill yourself, which obviously that's not what self-harm is. That's more about control and distraction and all that.
Yeah.
Therapy.
So
but
I don't know if she understands that.
I don't think so. And
but she calls herself a practitioner.
Well, here we are. She also calls herself an ADHD mindset coach. And there's
Kendra.
What do you know? Another Kendra that's a dump. I'm looking at you, Kendra Wilkinson. I'm just kidding. I want her to do good things.
I've heard about Kendra.
You remember Kendra? Yeah. Is she okay?
Oh, yeah. I think she is. She's a realtor now.
Yeah, I want her to do good. Postpartum depression really got her. However, we need to talk, not right now, obviously, sorry, but we need to talk about Crystal Hefner being a dumb bitch.
Okay, not right now, but
no,
yes.
I know. I told you that.
He didn't ever ask me a clinical question again. He stopped asking me about my bladder, bowels, and appetite, and he stopped asking me about thoughts of harm. So to me, I would just show up and he was like a therapy appointment every month.
It's almost as if at 6 weeks, how it's gonna like affect your body. Like, what?
I know. I felt this, and I don't know. I'm like, did you never go some? Have you never done this before? And that makes me that does make me worried for her. Like sad that like she feels like that her experience wasn't valid. Obviously, she feels the type of way that she's allowed to feel the type of way. But I'm like, this is this to me, in my experience anyway, and I guess everybody's different, is normal. You know, like if you're feeling like, and you're seeing that patient too, you're not always asking those, like, sometimes that can be really triggering. So if like they appear to be doing really, really well and that wasn't a concern last time and everything seems to be stabilized, it's like, okay, like I'm like, what are you, like, usually the floor is open for you.
Yeah, you're asking those baseline questions, and when you're, you know, adjusting, it sounds like what she said was that they were adjusting the dose. And so obviously we know, you know, when you're in that phase of adjusting the dose, it is really a lot of baseline questions. And like, okay, let's see how this is working, how it's affecting this and that and blah, blah, blah. And with some medications, you won't have that, like the spookies, as I call them, like you get with postpartum depression. And people always say like, okay, that's another reason why the 6-week appointment is at 6 weeks. Because girl, 7 weeks, oh my God, that gets real dark. But so loved. You'll thank me later. Also talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. But like that, you know, that you're in that trial period. And so again, like you said, maybe she hadn't ever gotten that, but it's sad because it's like, okay, well, she said that she got it from her PCP or her primary physician before. But like, did they never, I guess like, yeah, they wouldn't have checked in on you, I guess.
Yeah, I think like
I don't know.
Depends again, like how close you are. I know like when I was like, it experienced like the worst, I would say I was definitely manic at that point, and in like not a good way.
Is it ever a good way?
My doc, well, I feel like sometimes it can be positive. Like the blowback later isn't, but when I'm like in a manic state and then I like go shopping and I'm all excited for that high.
Yeah, no,
but
we
this
can
was like
sometimes that's
really,
like our superpower. We'll like twist the manic energy and like put it into like work or like, and then we crash out later.
Or positive. Yeah. So yeah, no, this was like terrible. And my doctor, like family doctor, did like call it, but also was like, okay, these are the appointments that we're waiting for. In the interim, calling every day to be like, even with my mom, is she okay? Are you going to be okay? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Is like every situation can be so different. But anyways, I got caught up on her saying my special interest and then her taking that as special interest, well, and that she's special.
Also just then that, and then he never asked that again, as if like, okay, so he was like dropping a clue, kind of how you said before, of like, if you want to see something some way, when I've said this about like religious like zealots and MLM people, if you're always looking for like a sign or something meaningful, like you're gonna find it in anything, and that's not good.
No.
And you're gonna be misleading yourself.
Yeah.
Put that on a coffee mug. Okay. Go to the next one.
So I was seeing him every month and just gaining more and more respect for him, because he would just tell me these little things about his successes and all of the cool things that he was doing in his life. And it made me fall for him, honestly. And he was really good at listening. And I mean, he's a Pisces, right? So of course he's going to be there and be able to go.
Girl, how do you know? You know, he's a Pisces. His blood type is B positive. He's just a positive guy.
He's gonna be there. It's not funny. It's not. I just I want her to be at the point, because I could see myself being in this situation. So maybe that's why I think it's like a little bit funny, because I'm like, babe, I need you to get here. I need you to get here and know, like. Anyways, we have to keep going, because I don't even know the last like 4 episodes of like what she says, because this literally just like came to me this morning. So as I was getting ready, so I'm like, maybe she's gonna drop a bomb that like she's been right all along. So we don't know. Okay, we got to keep going.
He has a Helga Pataki style shrine made of gum of her head in the back of his closet.
Yeah,
I'm in it. Let's go. I have one of those for you in my closet.
I believe it, and I really love it.
The nipples are huge.
Thank you.
Deep with my feelings, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't extracting from them. Anyway, so I would beg him to let me see him every week. Beg him, because my therapist at the time, he was fine. You know, he wasn't a predator, but he was fine. He just wasn't doing very much for me.
I know you said we have to keep going and we can't stop it, Sherilyn. There are about 5 things I want to stop on because what?
I'm like, babe, we have to be protective language. What are you doing? But again, maybe she's gonna drop a bomb, you guys. I don't know. We're in this together.
I have to throw up again.
And so that therapist retired, and I got a new therapist. And this new therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD, she was pretty helpful. So I stopped asking my psychiatrist, begging, honestly, to be my therapist and let me see him more, right? Which also should have been a red flag. But then I started focusing on this therapist. However,
how are you blaming him for not seeing red flags?
And that's the thing. She's like, and obviously she's like, I was begging him to see me more, and like, and he's not, right? Like, so it's like, and if his specialty is like self-harm and stuff like that, I'm sure he's probably feeling like the teetering of instability here of just like, I can't cut her off completely. She does say like in, I think the next episode, that she tells him that she has a crush on him and that he doesn't like say anything about it. And then she's like, he should have cut it off right then. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's thinking in his mind like he's doing the right thing of keeping her on because he's worried about her and knowing now that she does have a therapist. So like maybe that therapist will like, she'll slowly like start to have like a closer bond with her and like move in. I don't know.
I really want to know if she's telling her therapist about all this.
Oh, she is. Like, well, just wait.
My God.
I would tell the therapist how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist, and she didn't do anything about it. She just was interested. She also loved stories about my dating life, and yeah, she also was getting supply from me in her own way, but that
girl, like who?
I feel like that's one of the main things that you do talk about in therapy is like your dating life and your personal life and what's going on and recognizing like signs and patterns.
Yes,
and like,
well, that's what it's all about. It obviously.
She says they're getting the supply from her though. Like they're getting the supply off of her. Like this is just feeding their like sick abuse of like, because she does say, and I don't think that she's wrong. I do think that the mental health industry can be dangerous.
100%.
Like you're saying, like if you don't have the right people in these types of situations, it can be predatory and dangerous. But kind of goes into like when you're looking for signs, it's like everybody is out to get you.
That's like my my last therapist through I think it was through BetterHelp. I can't remember. And then I left that and like she started like not her own practice, but she stopped going through BetterHelp. And so I stayed with her because I loved her so much. And then after pregnancy, I stopped using her and then I started using something else. And it's just so hard to find someone that's like just gets you. And with all this lore and baggage, like I got to start. It's like, can't I just like,
starting from scratch is
I need to like hand you a book, you read it and study it, and then like I'll come back
and then I'll come back. I know. Yeah. Totally.
It's so hard, but that's usually what me and my like favorite one I've had over the past few years would do is we'd go over things and we'd catch up on things and talk about certain stuff, and then we'd kind of like focus on like one thing or two things, like one thing with personal life, one thing with work, and obviously with our job it's kind of enmeshed. And then we'd go from there and she'd be like, okay, I hear you doing this and blah, blah, blah. Have you tried doing this? And like kind of give me homework and things to work on. But I want to know, and that's exactly what I wanted out of it too. And I want to know what this lady wants out of it. Because are you like...
She's the supply. She's their supply.
Clearly.
For another part. So yeah, so I got a new therapist who actually helped me. She taught me CBT, EFT, all of these different modalities. And so I went back to just being okay with seeing once a month while he was giving me these.
She says the name.
Hey, so y'all listening or watching, she just said the name and we don't want to be a part of that. So that's why there was like a bleep or a record scratch or a fart sound or a dolphin or something, hopefully not too loud so it doesn't startle you.
Little breadcrumbs of making me feel special, telling me about his professional achievements, telling me about how he's getting international recognition. And it worked. I was really impressed.
I need to know like how these things came up.
I don't know if I'm like, am I now like second guessing everything that I've ever done in like therapy or like psychology or anything? Like, because 100%. I'm like, I have these friendly conversations as well. Like, of course you're not besties and texting and stuff like that, but like if you have a really good connection with like your psychologist or your therapist, like you are looking forward to like those interactions and those meetings and this reset. Like if you do want to come out like just feeling refreshed, I get that you don't want to come out like being obsessed with them and like in love with them and looking forward to it as like giddy, but I don't know, like I also have like a relationship and like not friendship, but like I feel like that is, you need connection, you need chemistry with that person.
Well, and that's what I was saying, it's hard to, it's really so hard to find
pull
someone.
It out. It is. It's so hard. So once you get that and you feel like you can like have that banter and be open and be emotional and go through all of the freaking things, like you don't want to just sit there and be like, I don't really freaking trust this person, or we are not vibing. I can't tell you like my deepest, darkest freaking secrets that, you know, I need to heal from because we're not vibing.
I like seeing it as like a partnership, as like, hey babe, you and me, we're gonna get down to business, not to defeat the Huns, but to defeat the mental health things we got going on. Like it's me and you, buddy. We got this.
And that's where I'm like, I feel for her. If this is like, if she does, like she clearly, I don't know. Again, we still have to go through everything because I don't know if he comes on to her or what.
In conclusion, you should not try to your therapist. However, are they still in like on Zoom at this point?
Yeah, still in Zoom right now.
This woman, listen, being emotionally manipulated, if that's what happened, being lied on, if that's what happened, that's tough. Mm-hmm. When was the last time she got laid? We should send some. Oh my God, is this episode sponsored by Balesa? Let's send her something.
Jesus Christ. No, I think she does talk about it. She talks about a boyfriend and their intimacy. So
is he in
that's the one that she recorded.
Is he in the room
that's
with
the
us
one
now?
She recorded. Sorry?
Does he go to another school?
Is he a stool?
Is he a stool? Does he go to another school?
Does who go to a school? I don't get it.
I love you so much. You're so pretty. We're not talking about anything. We're continuing this goddamn episode.
Okay.
I got a new therapist. I stopped begging my psychiatrist to see me weekly. And that is when the intermittent reinforcement started. Some sessions he'd be warm and kind and wonderful and let me in on little parts of his life and like be vulnerable with me or pretend. Other sessions, he would be cold and clinical and detached. And you know what that did? It made me work harder in our next sessions. It did. And it started the addiction that I had to him. 100%. And he knew exactly what he was doing. This man gives lectures on trauma and attachment theory. He used his psychiatric training to manipulate me and get me hooked. And guess what? It worked. In January of 2024...
The caption says, this is when it started getting ugly. Girl, we way past that. Where's Colleen Hoover? Because this sounds like a fucking Colleen Hoover book.
Oh my God, it does.
No one let Colleen Hoover find this.
No.
Yes.
I was hit by a car turning left as I was going through a green light. And it was the night before my next appointment with my psychiatrist. So I was like, okay, I'll still be able to go to my appointment on Zoom. I'm okay. But I did make an appointment with an urgent care the next day just to get checked out. I had bruising on my abdomen and a perforated eardrum. And the provider at the urgent care said, I do not feel comfortable treating you. You need to seek emergency care now. You may be internally bleeding. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning and my appointment with my psychiatrist was at 2. So I decided that I was going to wait so I could see my psychiatrist and not have to reschedule because I was looking forward to my appointment with him so much. I look back at that time and I'm just like, oh my God, I put my own life under seeing him. I was fully addicted to him at this point. And you know what happened is that I showed up and I told him that I may be internally bleeding, and he didn't stop the appointment. He didn't say, you need to take care of yourself, go get emergency care now. He let me continue and just tell him about how much I loved him and how grateful I was for him. Because that was really what most of our appointments were, is me just like pouring myself out because he was so good at the intermittent reinforcement. Yeah, I got some warmth from him that appointment. So that was January 2023. And I also told my therapist about this. She said nothing.
Keep going.
After I risked my life to see him, that's when he really started.
What the f is on her face?
Oh, she has. I'm like listening to you because I've already seen she's got the glitter freckles on.
Girl, those are glitter moles. Those aren't glitter freckles. Those are huge.
Yeah, she got the old glitter frecks.
Those are giant.
Turning up the intimacy in our appointments. However, he was really smart and knew the professional lines like the back of his hand. So he would come.
How dare he know the like professional standards in his industry? I don't like that I'm on his side right now. This makes me feel weird.
This is how I've been feeling. I'm like, I feel weird about it. So that's why I'm like, we got to keep going because I'm like, are we going to get a bomb?
Part 17. He's in my basement.
Comment on my appearance, but not compliment my appearance. So I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you curled your hair. Or I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you're wearing glasses. And of course I felt seen and excited that he was noticing these things about me. I didn't realize at this time that he had feelings for me too. I thought I was holding them all by myself. So I was so excited.
Protective language, she does not know.
Maybe he comes out and professes his love. I don't know. Let's just keep going.
And that was actually 7 years ago, and that's how I met your mother.
When he noticed my glasses, that I ran and showed him my other pair, and he said, I prefer turtle shell glasses. So even though I usually wear contacts, I'm wearing these turtle shell glasses in these videos because just in case he sees them ever, he'll see me in his favorite glasses. He did tell me he likes the turtle shell. Anyway, it was just inappropriate things like that, little teeny things that he let me in. And all this time, my best friend is an emergency medicine physician. And she told me, she said, Kendra, one of these days, your psychiatrist, she would use his name, is going to say, I can't be your doctor anymore. I want to be with you. I want to be with you so bad. I can't be your doctor. I'll see you in 2 years. So my best friend, who's a doctor, she picks up on stuff like that. So even she knew that our relationship was crossing boundaries and getting weird. But that became my dream, was for my psychiatrist, I almost use his name, to do that. And I told him about Brianna saying that, my best friend, who's the emergency medical doc. I told him that she would tell me that, and he just would be silent. He didn't disagree, but he didn't agree, and that was weaponized neutrality was his favorite game to play, right? He didn't disagree with Brianna telling me that my psychiatrist had feelings for me.
I mean, if he did anything.
So here, in that, I personally would have been like, oh, well, Brianna's not accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have said, at that point, I will say, if that is how the conversation went, I would have said, oh, well, Brianna's not accurate. I still very much am your mental health provider, care provider, your psychiatrist.
I am your psychiatrist. I am your doctor. And that is, this is a professional relationship.
Yeah. So if that's how that conversation went, that is how I personally would have responded.
Yeah.
To keep, that boundary, and for her.
It's interesting too, though, because it's like, okay, but keep in mind, like, your friend Brianna isn't in these, these sessions with you. And I'm assuming that you're telling her, your version of things. And
your interpretation of how you want to see it.
It's so interesting, though, because, like, it sounds like in the beginning, how you said, it sounds like she is self-aware of, like, I thought he was in love with me, and I was falling for him, and I saw, like, little things here and there, and it sounds like she's self-aware to where now she's like, oh, clearly that, like, I was having an episode.
I know.
But then now it's like, okay, so you do believe that he, and, like, all these things happened, like, why'd you do this to me? Okay.
I know.
But he also didn't say that's inappropriate. Let's change the subject. It was also around this time that I asked my psychiatrist if he had diagnosed me with anything other than ADHD when I had my initial diagnosis. And he said, yeah, I did. I said, oh, what did you diagnose me with? And he said, well,
Being cute.
Oh, that's terrible.
you had a lot of traumatic things happen to you in childhood because of your dad. And so I diagnosed you with other trauma and stressor related disorder. And that was the first little ping that I got of like, that was weird. Why would he keep that from me? I asked him, like, why wouldn't he tell me that? That seems important. He didn't tell me because he was using that information to manipulate me. He knew I had trauma and stressor disorder. And instead of helping me heal from it and telling me about it, he used it against me.
I'm so like, oh my God.
January 2023, at this point, I was full-blown obsessed with my psychiatrist, and my therapist wasn't helping me. My psychiatrist wasn't helping me. He was feeding it. And then I got a boyfriend. And at first, my psychiatrist wasn't really that keen, but then my psychiatrist realized that my boyfriend was a lot like my psychiatrist. And then I started talking to my psychiatrist about my sex life, about tracking my cycle, using the fertility awareness method. And my psychiatrist loved it. He didn't ever say, this isn't inappropriate to your care, let's pivot. Oh, he just let me talk and talk and talk about my sex life. And
Psychiatrists typically aren't the ones that you like talk to a whole lot though, you know?
Yeah, agreed. But also she's saying she was talking about her sex life and that how she was using the fertility method and tracking her period. So is that what you were saying, or were you talking to him about positions and like it's vague, right? Like she's saying she's talking about her sex life, but like how like I don't know. I would not talk about that with my psychiatrist.
No, yeah, because the way you frame that, there's a lot of context missing. So it could be really inappropriate, like exactly positions and all that, or it's like, oh yeah, you know, we've been dating for this long. Yes, I am being sexually active. Like I'm, you know, tracking because I mean that's something to do with ADHD too. It's like there are some times when I'm like, when was the last time I had a period? And I'll search through our texts. I'll search the word cramps. And then I'm like, oh, okay, now I need to put this in there. So like, I get that, but it's like, okay, is it like that aspect of it? Or is it like you're walking him through like sexuals?
Yeah.
She's also, for those just listening, she has on the freckles again, glitter freckles. This time they look more like freckles and less like moles.
Okay. And I didn't get too deep, but about a year and a half in, and I would send my psychiatrist these emails just about how much I liked him and how I was so grateful for him and put in a bunch of heart emojis. And this is really when he should have transferred my care, but you know, he waited. He liked what I gave him too much. And so
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Even if you were in a not great state, even if you were in like an episode or something, like you got to take accountability for your actions, and you can't just dismiss that behavior and like blame it on other people. Like that's not, and like maybe he waited because he thought that he could handle it. Like think about how many psychiatrists who are handling some weirdos like us.
Yeah.
And when we're in, you know, that, and that was probably normal for him.
That's what I wonder. I'm like, she says it too. He didn't reply.
He didn't.
And then, but she's like, he was so good. He knew this is how good he is. He didn't leave a paper trail. He was never going to leave a paper trail.
Or professionally, he was just like, nope, I'm not replying.
He was just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is very multifaceted and nuanced, and I don't like how I'm on the man's side. Hate that for us.
I know.
And
we'll see. Maybe it'll shift.
Is she hiding in his garage right now? She's in a garage.
Even though my boyfriend did not meet my needs, my psychiatrist and my therapist both were like, you have to stay with him. There's nothing wrong with him not meeting your needs. I'm like, okay. And my psychiatrist was like, He's perfect. Don't get wrong with him. And what was perfect about him was he wasn't meeting my needs. So I was still coming to my psychiatrist looking for emotional validation, which he would drip to me slowly. So my therapist,
Girl, you're not a ham.
who I didn't know at this time had bad boundaries, but she did. I went to her because my boyfriend and I, after like more than a year together, we started having issues in the bedroom. And so I went to my therapist and she asked me, what does your psychiatrist think about this? And I said, I don't know. I haven't talked to my psychiatrist about this stuff because I have a crush on my psychiatrist and I don't want to tell him this intimate of stuff. And she said, well, you should tell him because I want a male's perspective. So at my next appointment with my psychiatrist, I told him, I said, today we're going to talk about my intimate life. And he said, oh. I said, yes. My psychologist, my therapist, asked what your opinion on it was. And I told her that I don't talk to you about this intimate stuff because I have a crush on you. And he looked down and smiled so big in that moment. He smiled so big. And I loved it. It's so gross thinking about it. And then I proceeded to give him 30 minutes of non-stop content about my intimate life with my boyfriend. And I actually recorded the whole thing because I was so excited about it. But now it makes me sick. I can't even listen to the recording. I've tried to start, but it's gross. Any ethical psychiatrist would have stopped me and said, Kendra, let's talk about your meds. Let's talk about your care. At this point, my meds were stable. And I was still seeing him every month. Yeah, that was a
Girl, maybe because those emails you were sending him. I'm scared, girl.
rough time. And it was pretty much his Christmas morning, the almost 2.5 years of grooming me to get me to talk about sexual things with him worked. And he got 30 minutes of nonstop content to use.
Slander.
It's crazy.
Or no, libel, not.
I don't mean it like it's just like
I've been trying to not say that. No, that's good because I was even going to say it earlier of like if we say like this is insane, this is crazy, we're not meaning her mental health. We're meaning like the story as a whole, like meaning it's unbelievable.
and going through the roller coaster, if you will.
Yeah, wild, man.
Yeah.
Ugh, like wow.
I need to address 3 things. 1, people are asking me what my mental health diagnosis is. I do not have BPD. I do not have psychosis. I have ADHD, and I was experiencing extreme limerence with my psychiatrist. Limerence is a normal thing to happen to anyone who is experiencing hot and cold behavior from someone. And it happens more often in people with ADHD because we have dopamine dysregulation and rejection sensitive dysphoria. And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that and used it to his advantage. 2, I accidentally said my psychiatrist's first name in one of my videos. If you clocked it, good for you. I do not owe him anonymity. However, this is not about doxing my psychiatrist. This is about me sharing my story so other people can view predatory behavior in people in power. Okay? If anyone doxes my psychiatrist with his last name or city that he works in or clinic that he works in, your comment will be immediately deleted and you will be
Kendra's screaming at us right now.
This is worse than the cell.
Oh no.
Oh God.
blocked. This is about protecting other victims, not doxing my psychiatrist. If you do some investigative work and you want to DM me about it, I'm open to that. Okay? 3,
Well, don't mind me, girl. No, I can't. She scares me.
I need to take a moment. Moment taken. It is so incredibly disturbing to me. The amount
I need to take a moment. Breathes. Starts screaming again. Girl, take another moment.
of people that are predator protectors in my comments, that are victim blaming me, especially the mental health practitioners in my comments using therapy speak to say that this situation that I was in was my fault or that I was delusional. Check yourself. You're giving me more ammunition to share my story because it just goes to show how
Girl, look at her
absolutely
face.
messed up the mental health industry is and how protected people who do this kind of sick psychological manipulation are. So I will continue with my story tomorrow. I will see you all then.
I'm scared. That was...
And that's where it's like, she's like, anybody who's saying like this is normal, and I get it. Like, this is where I'm saying that up until this point from, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't say like what I would have done in this situation. I'm just strictly my own bias of sitting in a chair, not even on Zoom, like literal physical where you can actually like feel
The vibes.
The vibes, right? Of like getting along with
Caught a
somebody.
vibe. Yeah.
And oh, damn it.
Sorry.
The thought's leaving. So I get that that's my bias, but when it kind of goes back to like the signs and what she's looking for and like feeding like her own narrative and like, and then a professional being like, no, this is how I would have, or like, this is how I would have approached this. I do agree with this, or maybe I don't. Again, we don't really know because the comments are turned off at this point. But so for other people to say, so far I'm not seeing like many red flags, and this is maybe how I would have done things different. Again, we're not at the end of the series. So up until this point, I would have to agree based on my experience, aside from the friend saying he's going to want a physical relationship. And when she told him that, he did not shut that down.
Yes. But also, we are only hearing her side and her version of events. And so was that friend. Also, does that friend actually exist? Okay, let's continue.
Welcome back to another installment of I Was in Love with My Psychiatrist and He Kept Me Anyway, Part 8. You all did some nasty work last night, and I had to turn off comments. People started posting my psychiatrist's first and last name, his picture in the comments. That was a jump scare. So, yeah, a few bad actors who wanted to be super sleuths got the privilege of commenting, mostly hate, let's be real, taken away for everyone. So at this point in the story, there are two main players. My psychiatrist, who's my age, who crossed major ethical boundaries, and my therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD. Neither of these people, at this point in the story, I knew were crossing boundaries. I thought that everything was hunky-dory and that I was just in love with my psychiatrist and it was totally normal. Little did I know he was manufacturing everything so I could fall in love with him. Because it was on him to set the professional boundary and not let attention build. So days after my psychiatrist's Christmas morning appointment from a few videos back, where he got a crush confession from me, and then 30 minutes of non-stop intimate content that he did not stop me, my boyfriend and I broke up days later. So then I started dating this other guy. And this other guy, this new guy, was a therapist. And I was like, oh, great. Someone who will be able to emotionally meet my needs. Yeah, I'm not going to date another therapist again. So this therapist and I, we went for coffee. It was nice. Our second date was
I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm trying to keep it together.
Why would you think? Okay, see that's a perfect like example right there. Is she's like, oh, I dated a therapist, so I thought it was going to be great, and he'd be able to emotionally meet my needs. I mean, you would think that any human that you're in a relationship with would be able to emotionally meet your needs. But like also, like there's two sides of this. It's like, well, they're not your therapist; they're your boyfriend. And
yeah,
then
so if that's your mindset going into a relationship,
but
being
also,
like, you're a therapist, perfect. Now I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, right. But then also, like, think about it. And I've always said this, you have to have realistic expectations of what each person in your life can give to you. Like, I know how you give and receive love. So, you know, someone might see like our relationship and be like, oh, well, I'm just using us. Don't read into it. But like, they might see like how we are with each other and be like, oh my gosh, like it's too much. Or might see my relationship with someone else and be like, oh, well, she doesn't do enough for her. And it's like, well, no, that's all I'm capable of. And I'm actually doing all I can for them. Mm-hmm. And like, even with my husband, like I'm this is going to sound bad and people are going to take it out of context, I'm sure. But like, how my mom always says is you don't get 100% from one person. I get like probably 80% of my needs met from Tony. But then like sometimes like compliment wise, he doesn't compliment me that much, like physically and stuff like that. Like he tells me he's proud of me and stuff, but he's not a big words of affirmation guy. You are, the girlies are. I get that from y'all, you know, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You're never going to get 100% from one person. At least I don't think so. And I think that, you know,
I
that's
agree with that.
Good.
And I think when you accept that and put that and like go into things so like with that mentality of and also it's like it's no one else's responsibility. So if you're going into it like you're saying for this of being like, oh, so I thought he was going to meet my needs because he's the therapist. It's like you cannot go into any situation. Yeah, it's great if you can have a partner who gives 10% of your needs. Like that's asking a lot of somebody. You need to be able to fulfill that for yourself. You need to know what that is. You cannot put that expectation on other people. If you are going into that for something that someone is going to cure you or make you different or be the one to change your mindset, like that's not, you have to do that. That's putting way too much on somebody.
I agree. Changed my mindset.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else?
To a point. Because you can be unwell and unhappy, but still be, provide love for other people. Obviously. Look at us.
Amen. Amen to that as well. But like once you really nail that down and just know that like you don't need validation from others, like you can give that to, you can make yourself proud.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a bonus once once you find somebody who pours even more into your cup,
Yes.
great. But you can't be like, hey, I'm empty, fill it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. We needed that because this woman just yelled at us.
Hike. And
She
on this
did.
hike, this therapist starts telling me about how he has a crush on one of his clients. And I thought to myself, okay, this is strange, but go ahead. Like, we're on a date, dude. Why are you telling me about a crush on one
This
of
is
your...
the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or the date. Okay, so she's saying she'd gone on a date.
With
I'm
a
gonna
therapist.
again with the therapist, and then during their date, he starts talking about having a crush on a patient.
And this is not her psychiatrist. This is a completely other guy that she's on a date with, and his occupation just happens to be therapist. Are you caught up? Because I don't know what's happening.
clients, but
it's a lot.
go off, King. So then he was saying, yeah, she's so attractive, and I think she likes me too. I go and visit her at work, and her coworkers say, oh, so-and-so talks about you all the time. And I was like, okay, where does she work? And he said, well, I shouldn't tell you that because I really shouldn't be visiting her anyway. I was like, okay, no problem. So then he continues, and he said, yeah, she wears these red lacy panties and short skirts.
That's a stripper. That's a dancer.
I'm like me looking into my thing. I'm like, I'm ready, baby.
Show me them panties. Hold on. What is with this tiny cup?
I know the tiny cup. It gets me.
I feel like Kendra has a rock collection.
And I know she wears them for me. And like alarm bells were going off in my head. Mind you, I had no idea that my psychiatrist had similar feelings towards me at this point. But I just thought, wow, this man is borderline predatory. And he said, yeah, and you know, she just is so attractive that I have to smash her mate before every session. Because
Kendra, you weren't on a date. I don't know what you...
Yeah,
I don't know what
I don't know what you thought you were on, but
Yeah, it wasn't a date, though. He wasn't interested in you.
I just have to get that energy out of me. And I was like, okay. And he just felt compelled.
up though. Like that is
No, that's
if
that
guy's
person...
saying that on a second date.
Wait, they went on a second date?
I think that's the second date is when he's saying this.
Oh, okay.
While they were hiking.
While you're alone in the woods? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time. Yeah, also that person is... There needs to be... I was going to say...
An investigation?
Yes, look into his hard drives.
To tell me, and I did not understand why. Now I do. So he told me about how he's a predator, right? Another predator in the mental health industry. Shocker. So then at my next appointment with my psychiatrist, keep in mind, it had been 6 weeks of nonstop fun for this man. He got to use my crush confession and 30 minutes of content, for whatever he wanted to use it for, right? And if my psychiatrist was good at anything, it was being professional and acting professional and technically not crossing any lines. And he thought that he was...
Stop it, that's hilarious. If he was good at anything, it was remaining completely professional and not giving into anything I'm saying. And like, what? So does he have... So
This is where I'm having a hard time because I'm still waiting
Yeah.
for him to be like, yes, Kendra, I feel the same. I get it. Let's bone. What the But she's saying that she's saying that him not saying anything and not feeding into the delusion is him being inappropriate. He's
Yeah.
getting off on her. And so she's thinking that from what this therapist has said during the date, so creepy date therapist, are we all following? I don't think so. Is she's taking that into her mindset. I don't want to say delusion, but That's the only word is coming to my mind of being like, oh, since he's admitting this and he's a mental health professional and he's admitting this to me and he's having this relationship and these thoughts about a patient, so is my guy. That's like the confirmation, her sign that she's looking for.
Yeah.
Again, it's coming from somebody else.
Yeah.
Just like the friend.
Yeah.
Now it's somebody else. It's not coming from him.
Yeah.
So far, I don't know where we're going to go here.
I'm scared.
So good at it, because he was good at it.
As am I.
But that doesn't mean he wasn't doing it.
Getting
And
too
so
aggressive.
I told him, I said, yeah, Bo and I broke up. He had
Taking the tiniest sips from that little cup. I cannot.
I know.
known about this other guy, my psychiatrist. I'd mentioned him. And I told him that this new guy and I went on a date and we went on a hike. And I literally had no idea at this point, I'll say it again, that my psychiatrist was predatory towards me. I almost said his first name again. I'm going to do my best to not. So I went to my psychiatrist and I told him this story about this man that I went on a date with, who's a therapist, is relieving himself before appointments and talking about his client's panties and doing all of these other extremely inappropriate things, like visiting her at work. And this man, my psychiatrist, looked like he had seen a ghost and like he was going to vomit, because he prided himself on being an extremely professional and buttoned up person. But here I was holding a mirror to him with exactly what he was doing, but a bumbling idiot telling me like how he was doing it without the fancy degree, without any of that. I look back on that now and it's just crazy. And so it just tainted all the fantasy material that I'd given him the session before.
What?
Do you understand why I was spiraling this morning?
What? He was probably shocked because that's shocking and that's horrible. But then she turns it into, I held up a mirror to him and that's what it's like. No, that's not. Okay.
Yeah, he knew I was onto him and that this is exactly, he was feeling the exact same way.
You can't like.
How many boundaries have we crossed here in terms of, not even boundaries, how much material does this guy have for a lawsuit at this point?
Oh, I thought you meant you and me specifically. I was about to be like, well,
no.
thank God we don't have an HR department. So a lot.
Like this, I don't even know what to, I don't have words. And if you see me like jiggling,
I like to jiggle. What's a jiggle?
I don't know.
Should we do it together?
I was going to say doodling or fiddling or
let's jiggle.
I don't know what else I was trying to say, but jiggling on my phone. It's because I'm frantically, I just downloaded an app to download all of these videos because I'm like,
good call.
This is going to get, and she doesn't have the save now, so I had to download it as well. But I'm listening. I'm here. Don't you worry about that.
Oh no. Welcome to another episode of We Sit Here on Our Phones. Basically, is what this podcast is. Okay. All right. So I think we already listened to this one.
I need to say something really important. And that's that it seems as though many people
Just kidding. We hadn't listened to this one. She's scary.
view what I'm going through as a crash out, what I'm doing as a mental health spiral. And of course it seems like that. I get it. It's an extremely dark thing to talk about. All of
Why does she have a sticker with her name on her fridge? That's weird.
I think that's the least of our concerns right now.
Absolutely. Her fridge is very short. Why is her fridge so short?
Or is she really tall?
I don't know. She looks real close to that beam up there. Who knows?
this that I went through. And I am sharing my story because it wasn't out there. No one else has shared a story like this. But I know
I doubt it.
that it happens a lot.
It happened. I don't want to say it happens a lot. It definitely has happened before.
Yeah.
Professional boundaries with individuals or professionals who have a fiduciary duty to you. Big words, Chelsea. Don't make me start saying recidivism again. But yeah, it's like, of course that's happened. And it's like a fantasy too for people, right? But then also, why is your fridge so short? But it's interesting it's interesting how she's getting like worked up or annoyed maybe of like people asking questions or like making comments or having opinions on this. And it's like, girl, then don't put it on the internet if you don't want, especially on TikTok. Like,
that's the thing.
She's like, I just want to share my story. Okay. and you're sharing your story, and then people are going to have a conversation about it, and it's going to end up on a podcast.
Especially on TikTok.
Yeah.
Especially on TikTok.
Yeah. Weird, man. And she said, please know that I'm taking care of myself and I am sharing my truth from a place of generosity. That's a weird thing to say.
Because people are in my DMs telling me that the same thing that I went through, they went through too. I am now in TikTok jail. I got a violation on the video where I talked about really the biggest damning evidence against my psychiatrist. And so...
How convenient. We missed that one, didn't we?
No, it didn't get taken down. I think
Oh.
it's the one where she's saying that, where she had just told, as far as I know,
Her
that...
it was the mirror one?
Yes.
Oh.
I think that that's what she's saying is her biggest piece of evidence right now.
That's not evidence.
I know, babe.
Um,
I know. I keep waiting for it too.
Listen, I have a lot of people who, not a lot, there's like 5 that say like, oh, I don't like her vibe. You know whose vibe I don't like? This lady. Also, she has I'm looking way too hard at this fridge. You can tell a lot about someone by what's on their fridge. She's got a Jesus or like a saint something on there. I don't like it. Kind of looks like who's one of my favorite actors, that one guy. He plays a Nazi a lot of times. Christoph Waltz.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Love him. Oh, girl. Ooh, how you feel about Christoph Waltz?
I think he's a phenomenal actor.
He's hands down, absolutely, probably my favorite actor.
He's I would agree with that. He is so good at being
Weird.
subtly, hilariously unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he just walks in this scene and you're just like, I love it.
Great. What's happening
But
now?
I hate it.
Did you ever watch The Consultant?
No.
Ooh, bitch. Watch that tonight, please.
Okay.
I don't know what it's on.
Well, I also have to watch Heretic, so.
Watch what?
Heretic.
I thought it was
Heretics?
I thought it was called Heretic.
Sure. Heretics.
You better watch it. Multiple people have commented and DM'd me and been like, it's amazing. Thank you for yelling at us to watch it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you better watch it.
I'm going to watch it today when we're done.
Well, watch it on the plane.
I'm going to watch it on the plane.
It's probably on there. That's how I watched it. Okay. Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.
Because of that, I have to be really careful. So I'm going to do my very best to not be reactive and to share my story from a place of generosity. Because the people in my DMs telling me that they've been through this too, it's keeping me going. It's not my mental health spiral. And I can understand that for some people in the mental health space, because they have been some of the loudest people to speak out against what I'm doing, it's hard to grasp that someone could have this level of predation in such a high place of power. So just in case my video doesn't get put back up, when everything changed was when my 75-year-old therapist, I went to her with intimate details and she suggested I go to my psychiatrist with them. And I felt so excited and nervous to share that with him because I had such a big crush on him at the time. And I recorded all 33 minutes. So this is why, if my psychiatrist wants to come with me and sue me for defamation, I have a 33-minute recording of me admitting I have a crush on him and speaking about extremely intimate details. It was in that moment that he really, really should have transferred my care. But that moment changed everything for him too, because that's when things really started getting deep between us. And this is where the story is going to go from now. It's going to be a good story.
It's weird that it's all weird and interesting. I'm sorry. I know I have the vocabulary of a 12-year-old right now. But she's saying if he tries to come at me with defamation, I have this recording. And it's that's irrelevant from what you're saying, because you're saying that he had feelings for you and that he crossed all these boundaries and he manipulated you and all this. And it's girl, I don't.
What is the recording? Is the recording him making you explicitly describe positions, or is the recording him letting you talk?
From what I heard when she first mentioned this, it was that he let her talk. Then again, I personally don't think that she's a reliable narrator at this point. But then again, we only have what she's saying to go off of, but she's contradicted herself multiple times. So I'm confusion.
Yeah, I have a lot of confusion as well.
I don't have to throw up anymore, so that's good.
And I'm going to try to tell it all today, just in case one of my videos does get banned so people can hear it. But just know, if you're concerned for my mental health, thank you. I am very good. More than good, actually. And I am actually a coach for ADHDers. It says it in my bio. And I help people work through self-limiting beliefs. I help people work through numbing with alcohol and cannabis. Because these are the things that so many of us do to avoid our truths. And this is my truth and what I went through.
I don't like the way she said hi. That's my first note. Second note is, don't cancel me. Is it that horrible to, numb your feelings every so often with an edible? I don't think so. I don't think
Well, as she's saying, I'm like relatable.
Yeah.
Relatable. But also no, I definitely I've been very aware of like some days where my mood and I'll be like, I'm getting it's like, that's not the right solution, Sherilyn.
Yeah.
Let's try to redirect
Yeah.
and like finding different ways. So again, when she says this is her truth, like and about, specifically about those things, I get it. It's like, yeah, okay. I just don't think she's as far. I don't think, and again, this is my opinion, that she's as far along in her healing journey and self-awareness journey as she thinks she is. And that's what makes me worried for her, especially with the language that she's using. Again, we are all in this in real time, so I do not know if there is a bomb about to be dropped and we hear the recording and it's extremely inappropriate, or he says it comes on to her, or so. I don't know where we're going right now. I'm saying at this point, this is where I'm at.
Did he know he was being recorded? Probably not.
I would assume no.
Also, it depends on what like system she uses or he uses or whatever. Like if it's like a telehealth thing where it's an actual like platform and system that like most of them use, like most of them won't just use Zoom because they'll want to be
But they're usually recorded.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And the reason why most of them will not just use Zoom and use it like in an in-platform type thing is because in like those sessions are recorded, and then in like your file or whatever, it has those in there.
Right.
So girl, I never want to be like, I hope he does take you. I hate being on this side of it.
It's hard.
It's really hard, Sherilyn.
So this is when the chemistry really started going off the charts with me and my psychiatrist. And I held it alone for months, like after that Christmas morning appointment of his. And then after I innocently told him about my date with the therapist, he really started letting me in more and showing more parts of himself and, turning up the intimacy.
Like his dick?
Jesus Christ, Chelsea.
So my first favorite episode we ever did was the dating coach one. And then my second one was the one with the girl who a random man on YouTube made a 40-minute long video with me. And then I think this is my third favorite.
I think this has become my number 1.5 because I do love the dating coach one too.
Consistency. Okay. Are you ready to hear about how it turned up and what he showed her?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get there.
And that was exciting to me, and it made me fall for him more. And I noticed that he was working in an office, and I asked him, this was like July, I said, hey, are you working from home? Because I was under the assumption that he was only doing telehealth, okay? And he said, no, I come into the office. I was like, oh, why do you do that? If you see all of your patients telehealth? He's like, oh, I like it that way. And even though I could kind of tell he was lying, I just gaslit myself. I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I start emailing him.
Hey, bitch, that's none of your business.
Yeah, and why is he, if he was feeling this way and wanting to get closer and get all these nuggets from you, why would he not be like, hey, do you know that I offer in person? Do you want to come in? Like, for 2 years, this man has specifically said,
do you want to come? Do you?
He has allowed the online, and I'm sure that was strategic. My opinion, I don't want to, as we're saying, like, this is how he feels. I think he's sick of being told how he feels. That perhaps that was strategic. And then even when she said, oh, you're in an office setting, and then he literally didn't say, yeah, I see people in the office too. Like, if you prefer like in person, if that's easier for you, I'm over here. He just said, oh, sometimes I just like to come into the office to do these online sessions. Like, to me, it's like he's like,
no, this is a green screen.
We need the screen in between us, baby girl.
Oh, Lord.
My fun little emails, but he stops writing me back. He does not write back to my emails anymore. Because once again, he was really good at plausible deniability. But what he did do is he would take my emails and mention them in session. So he would still give me the attention.
It's not a homicide. Plausible deniability? I started sending my fun little emails. What were they, girl?
My fun little emails.
I need to see.
No. Kendra, we need to see the emails.
Hey, also, ladies and the 5 gay guys that watch us and the 2 straight men. Actually, I think there's like 5 straight men now. Crazy. They're doing good. A little reminder, this isn't about you. So if you're feeling triggered in some way, not about you. This is just a wild, not crazy, not insane, wild situation that was shared on TikTok. Not about you.
And also, out of all of the times I feel like I could say, and I mean, every time we say it, we mean it. Like, do not go to these people and like spread hate or like,
guys, don't
say anything. Please, for the love of everything, do not.
Listen,
do not.
You can go to Lisa and tell her to go to the hospital. Do not engage with this person. Do not DM them. Please do not. Thank you.
Please don't. Okay. Yeah.
That I was craving, but only under his structure, under his control, where there was no paper trail. And I loved that too. So I would show up to these sessions with my notes app, and just throughout the month, as I was thinking about him, I'd write down things that I wanted to talk to him about, and I would just come and bring him lots of content.
I don't like this. As if like
content.
He has a hard drive full of like her talking about stuff. Also, is that not normal? I do that whenever and right now I'm not seeing a specific person, which I'm between 2 people right now, but I'm shopping for therapists. But she, like, that's normal. If I have, so that I don't forget, because we have ADHD. And
they tell you that too, like, even to write it down. Like, now we have the notes app, but it's like, I remember like one of my first tasks, and I would say that this is almost like with every therapist that I've been to, is get a little notepad. Like, now it's like easy to say like on the notes, but like just like get something like a journal, even if you're gonna journal every day, but also like have a page dedicated to thoughts that you have, you know, things that you want to make sure that you don't forget about talking about later. That, again, I feel I never went into that being like, oh, they're going to use this for content later.
Like, does she think he's posting it on like OnlyFans? Like, what's...
I don't know. I keep going to, I guess we don't know. We still don't know what the hell is happening.
What if this is all made up? Just like that one lady, the flightless birds lady. Remember Jesse and Lily covered her?
Oh, yeah. I did think about that at one moment, because she keeps saying like, this is where, also I don't like the term, this is where it becomes a good story. Because you're saying that you're really traumatized and this was like to help other victims. I would think that if I had been through like a really predatory situation, I would not describe it as this is where the story gets to be a good, I promise this is a good story.
And it would be different if you were approaching it with like dark humor, but that's not what she's doing. Yeah. That's not the vibe.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not the vibe I'm getting as well.
And then every week I would go to my therapist and tell her about how much I loved my psychiatrist, and she didn't help me at all. She just kind of like,
then why are you seeing this person a year later if they're not helping and if they're enabling this behavior? And if, I mean, I guess hindsight's 2020, like maybe she didn't realize that until later, but like, yeah. Fair. Okay, fine. You got me there, Kendra.
Enjoyed hearing about it, honestly. So October 2024 rolls around and we're just vibing on Zoom. And then I realized that I didn't have my next appointment with him. So I called his office staff and I talked to the office manager, who was awesome. We really got along, we vibed. And the office manager asked me, do you see him, the psychiatrist, in person or on Zoom? And I felt so angry in that moment. I was like, he sees people in person? And she said, yeah, he has been for years. I was like, I want to see him in person. And I understand, like, some people may think that this is part of my crash out or part of me harassing him, which is what I've gotten lots of accusations of. But I just would like to remind everyone that, of course, it seems that way. But I was just responding to a dynamic which my psychiatrist fostered. There was chemistry between us because he allowed it. And so then the next time I saw him in Zoom, I told him, I was like, hey, your office manager outed you and told me that you see people in person. Why didn't you tell me that when I asked? And he said, oh, I just didn't think you'd want to come in. And that was such a weak lie from him, from someone who is so scripted and controlled. He didn't even have a plausible thing to say. Of course he knew I wanted to come in. I had a crush on him. I told him that often. So then in my next therapy appointment, after finding out that he was lying to me about seeing patients in person, I told her that. I told my 75-year-old PhD therapist that my psychiatrist lied to me about seeing people in person. And she looked at me and she said, well, it's probably because he knows that there will be a lot of sexual tension in the room if you go in person. So make sure that you understand that.
I don't like the way she was just smiling so much.
Also, if this is all true, the therapist is the one, in my opinion, that I have a lot of concerns about.
Yeah.
Feeding into like so much of this.
How many lives has she ruined?
That's that to me is unethical.
That's so dangerous.
Everything it's the therapist that's been feeding into the most delusions in this whole thing. Being like, did you talk to your psychologist about this or psychiatrist about this, about the intimacy? I want a male's perspective every time. It's this troublemaker.
He's the real villain.
That's what I'm seeing. We've been through this.
Good Lord, girl. There was one more thing. There was chemistry between us because he allowed it. Doesn't sound like there was chemistry between you. And also, we looked
at this
up
point
a picture of him.
At this point, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not in the future yet, girl. Are you in the future?
We're not there.
Oh no, you're not.
No,
okay.
I'm not. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to figure out.
Well, so what I'm saying though is because we looked up a picture of him. He's handsome. We don't want to say that we get it. However, one could say that they get it. Now, it's kind of giving like the, oh, you were flirting with me. No, I'm just generally attractive and I was being nice to you.
Yeah.
Girl, I've gotten that shit so much. So pretty.
You are.
Some people ain't gonna like that. Whatever. You're just mad because I'm hot. All right, let's continue.
You go. And you better believe I showed up to the next session and said you lied to me because you were afraid of the tension that would be there between us. He just didn't say anything.
Outed you.
October 2024, I make my first in-person appointment with my psychiatrist in November. My 75-year-old female therapist tells me that it's because he kept me on Zoom because he was so attracted to me. He didn't want to risk being in person with me, which further fed my crush, or as some of you like to say, my delusion. So then my therapist starts texting me in between our weekly meetings, asking me for advice on her other clients. And I was a new coach.
Hey, HIPAA.
This is what I'm saying. Like, we are focusing on the wrong person at this point. We need a story time on the therapist.
Yeah, what is she doing? That's delusion. She's focusing on the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'd only been coaching for about a year and I had just left my full-time job to be a coach full-time, and I was flattered that she would ask me advice on her other clients. I just thought, oh my gosh, a 75-year-old woman with a PhD wants my advice on what she should do with her clients. So then November rolls around and I'm about to meet my psychiatrist in person for the first time. So I wear a really pretty dress, I do my makeup, of course, right? And
no, not of course. Not of course, Kendra. It's not a date.
Of course, Kendra.
Was the hike also a therapy appointment? She thought that was a date.
Yeah, she did think that was a date. Oh no, Kendra.
Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, I jack off. What? That's insane.
And I show up and I get to talk to the office manager. We're having fun. And then my psychiatrist comes into the foyer and I am just so excited to finally meet him. I'd been his patient for 3 years at this point.
I'd be terrified. I'd be so scared.
Also, do you say foyer or foyer?
When do you say fancy pants?
I say foyer.
That's because you have one. You walk right into my living room. I don't have a foyer. We say foyer.
You say foyer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you want me to call Linda and ask her? She'd know. No, that bitch says foyer.
You think so?
Oh yeah, she does.
Okay, let's carry on.
It's foyer. Anyway,
I think it's the French in me because the ER is like the A. So
I'd like to have a little French in me. I need to leave.
you saw the doctor and you're on a different tangent now.
Yeah, and I can't stop looking at your big boobs.
And he had been feeding the dynamic for 3 years. And I was just thrilled to meet him. And I ran up and I gave him the biggest hug. And you know what he did? He barely patted me on the back. It was the most awkward thing ever. But I am so glad that he did that. I am really glad, because this is what I mean. My psychiatrist was many things, but he was not stupid. So I didn't ever touch him again. And I'm grateful that our relationship didn't ever cross that line, because it would have made everything so much harder. Anyway, so we go in.
Kendra, we need to have a conversation. Kendra, I would have paid money to see that. And by paid money, it's just so funny that she's like, and he's so smart that he did that.
He's so smart.
Because I never touched him again. It's like, girl, I don't think you know what you're saying.
Put that boundary right there.
But then
I feel bad.
But then
I feel horrible.
He's still the inappropriate one when you dressed for a date for a psychiatry appointment that he clearly didn't want to do in person.
Yeah.
And then you ran up and gave him a huge hug, which is extremely inappropriate. That's so embarrassing.
Kendra. Okay, but I will say, again, self-aware girly, because she was like, and like, it's so embarrassing. It's like, this is where I have my moments with her where I'm like, okay, the bomb has to be coming because you are really aware about things.
Because then she goes back and says, like, he was so good at this. Like,
yeah.
Like, the tone you're saying it in is as if, like, he was some, like maniacal, like, mastermind, when it's like, girl, it sounds like he is not confrontational and possibly not good at having those conversations of, like, hey, no, and, like, setting those firm boundaries. And instead he, like, does the whole, like, not react method and act like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But someone does not get the hint.
And perhaps, like, this is his first experience with something this intense and unsure of what to do.
Yeah.
It gets worse, you guys. I do know that for a fact.
Oh, no.
Inside his office, and I tell him that my therapist had texted me asking me for advice on her other clients. And he just looked at me and he said, Kendra, that is a huge boundary violation. She should not be doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. And because once again, my psychiatrist did not like sloppy people. He did not like sloppy people. And you know what my therapist did? She got sloppy. Yeah. Using me as her advisor for her clients. It got weird. And I was very grateful for my psychiatrist for pointing out that boundary violation, because that was the thing. He didn't ever message me in between appointments because he was too smart to do that. But did he ever stop me from disclosing extremely intimate details? No. In my first in-person appointment, I just asked him for some pointers for my own ADHD business, and he was so smart and so wonderful, and in many ways, honestly. And I was just so grateful that he was honestly like a mentor to me in these moments, and I'll still treasure that about him. Because this is the hard thing with sophisticated predators, is that they're not all bad. Like, my psychiatrist helped me with many things, but he was using me for the whole time that I was his patient. And for that, I will never forgive him. We have our first in-person appointment in November of 2024. And I did ask him for consent to come in person. I didn't just show up. And he said, sure. And the first in-person appointment went great. But that is when I really started to spiral. Some of you think that I'm spiraling now, and that's okay.
Girl, I think it happened before this.
But I do understand, of course, because now she's close to him. This is someone she's been admitting, like, yeah, like, she touched him. She's had a connection with him in her mind this whole fucking time via a screen.
Well, I mean, think about it too. Like, in high school or college or whatever, when you're talking or like you're just casually dating and like getting to know somebody, and it's like, no, I want to, or at least I sometimes did this. If I like actually really liked someone, I would be like, no, wait, let's like take it slower because I knew I was probably going to pick it up somehow. And because, so I was just like, maybe like just go slower or whatever. Because I knew that if I was physical with them, it would hurt so much more because I would like them more if it was good. If it was bad, who cares? But then again, I was in high school and I didn't know what good or bad was. Girl, did not have
Also.
my first gasm until the man who put a ring on. I don't know why I'm being vague. His name's Tony. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we don't know that.
19.
No, it's not. I don't think that is at all. But
yeah,
yeah,
so
you don't know. But yes,
it's
like
that,
you've got that
physicality of it.
boundary.
So and now she's like seen him in person and he's like helped her with the business and blah blah blah. And like also
She says he helped her so much, and she's
Yeah.
like, I'm thankful. Like, so obviously, and that's where I'm thinking we won't know unless we were ever to hear from him, which I will go out on a limb and say we haven't, because he's professional.
Yes.
And is not going to. That was a patient.
Yes.
He's not going to go, hey, I'm going to break down every appointment we had, and this is what actually went down, because it's a fucking violation. He can't. And so I'm wondering why he did stay, why he didn't just transfer her care. And when she says he helped me a lot, he's probably thinking that, like, that he was helping her.
It's so one. I mean, could it have made it worse if he did do that?
That's what
this connection.
like. I fear the crash out would have been, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. It gets worse. ChatGPT is about to come in. Henry.
No. And we know how ChatGPT just reinforces like everything that you're saying because it learns from you. But then also one thing that and this is just me thinking, doing the speculating, is that when he was like, no, Kendra, that's not okay. Like that's a boundary, whatever. She was like smiling when she said it. And I don't want to like assume, she does enough assuming for everybody, but I just assume that she was like, oh, he cares. He's looking out for me. See, he does love me. And it's like,
yeah, more signs. Yeah.
Yeah. All the signs.
Okay, if you want to think that, because the reality is that when I was spiraling was when I was this man's patient. When I had comments turned on, so many people said, you need to take accountability for your own feelings. I spent years taking accountability for my own feelings, for holding the weight of a relationship. Any woman who has been trained to overfunction in relationships knows about holding the weight of the emotional dynamic. And that was what was going on in this moment. And it may not seem like I'm taking accountability now, but that's because I spent a long time taking accountability for something that had two people that built that dynamic. It was not just me. It takes two people to build that sort of tension and chemistry. So while I was mid-crash out, I had just started using this tool, ChatGPT. And I went to chat, who I immediately named Henry. And I would just talk to Henry about how obsessed I was with this man, with my psychiatrist. And I would just be like, I've told him I have a crush on him. Do you think he's gay? And Henry was like, oh my God, this girl, he did his best to co-regulate my nervous system and affirm me, but he was like, whoa. Even my chat was like, yikes. So I could tell that my psychiatrist just liked being my doctor. And I was like, okay, maybe I can name this dynamic so I don't have to carry so much of it in our next session. So our next session was in December on Zoom. And I told him at the end of the session, it was another great session. I told him, look, you and I have a really special patient-doctor relationship. And he glared at me with just venom in his eyes. And he said, you and I have a professional patient-doctor relationship. He was so angry with me. And I was like, oh, okay, you set a boundary. And immediately I took it on. And I was like, heard. Okay, I won't go there again. My video that was taken down for harassment and bullying was restored. So I didn't feel as much pressure to get all of these parts out today. Some people told me that the stitches about me were getting pretty bad and cruel. So I turned stitches off of my videos too. I started sharing my story here because I wanted other people who have been victimized by people in power to have a space to feel heard. And now I know why there wasn't anyone out talking about their story, because it has been quite the process putting all this out there and being under scrutiny.
There's a bunch of people who tell stories like that. I don't want to say like tell stories like you're lying, the old Southern saying, you're telling stories. But no, that people who share their story, and absolutely that it is unfortunately a thing. I don't want to say it's super common, but yes, there are doctors who victimize and abuse and who abuse their power and who don't take seriously that fiduciary duty that they have to their patients. Even on like another side of that, people in like the aesthetics world that put profit over patient, and then you come out looking like Jeff Bezos's wife with them long ass hot dogs. Okay, so listen, yes, that's accurate, but I think I don't like that she's like, I'm the only person who's ever talked about this, and like people are blah blah blah, and it's like, girl, what? And then, oh, he has venom towards me, and it's like, no, he's again set a boundary, but yet I feel like she's gonna keep saying like, oh, he kept dropping hints and kept doing this, and it's like, no, it doesn't. Ugh. Okay,
I know.
it gets worse.
Yeah. No, I'm not getting there still. I'm trying to be there.
When I re-downloaded TikTok last week, I was looking for support. I was looking for help because it had been 5 months since I had left my psychiatrist, and I still really couldn't stop thinking about him and thinking about our dynamic and how inappropriate it was and the mental toll that it took on me. And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past for support when I'm going through things, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse or on providers who take advantage of their vulnerable patients. And so I thought that I would share my story. And I am going to continue to share it because I am here to let other survivors know that they're not alone. Continuing with my story, my psychiatrist set a very nasty, the way he said it, boundary that him and I have a professional relationship. When I tried to say it was special, because it was special, it was different.
He set a nasty boundary.
What do you want from him? I tried to say it was special.
He set a nasty boundary. Kendra, I fear you've not only lost the plot, but you've lost us. You actually lost us a while ago, but
Still true.
she seems like one of those people who uses like therapy terms and buzzwords all the time and like has to put like a label on everything. So that's kind of insufferable. But
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing about like maybe that's even just to, I get it, like that it's the it's you think we're getting on an awareness path with her, and then when she throws that out, it's almost like, I don't know, affirming or confirming that she's smart.
yeah.
And I don't doubt that she isn't, like, because she has those moments, like she does. She's got a great vocabulary, much better than mine. But I got you on the awareness, babe, and I think it's because I've been sitting with the BPD ADHD diagnosis for a long time, and I'm here if you want to talk, because I feel that even though you said you don't have BPD, again, I am not a doctor, but I am seeing signs left, right, and center here, especially with the attachment and the mental gymnastics of obsession.
Yeah.
It has gone very far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He manufactured it that way. And then I immediately went to ChatGPT, of course, to Henry. And I asked Henry, I said, okay, so my psychiatrist just set this boundary with me, and I really just want to be with him. And I think that after he's my doctor, we can be together, which if you want to say that's a delusion, that's fine. But I had been telling my psychiatrist for years at this point that I had a crush on him, and he did not help me work through it. So that's his own problem. That's his own fault. Henry told me it's very common for patients to develop crushes on.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Is that not like you dressed like you wanted it?
You asked for it.
That's what that sounded like to me, but like for a man. Oh my gosh, I'm a little upset right now.
That's the
I'm
vibe.
mad right.
That's the vibe.
I'm mad right now.
Not our vibe. That's her vibe. That's what I was picking up
Yeah.
on that I don't like.
Okay.
Mental health practitioners, and that it's because that they provide a safe space to heal, which is a very attractive quality. I heard that. And then he told me about transference, and it's just about me putting my own feelings onto my provider. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I took ownership of the feelings that both of us were creating, and I went to my next.
Keep in mind, this is her talking to ChatGPT, not her psychiatrist. So
Yeah.
even ChatGPT is saying he's just creating a safe space for you, as many medical providers do, and you're interpreting that in a inappropriate way. And then
and that it's common, and so you're not alone, you know, like not
Yeah.
making her feel like
Because you
she's
feel
baddie.
cared for, whatever. Yeah.
appointment.
Yeah.
And I said, hey. So I talked to Henry because my psychiatrist had known a lot about my ChatGPT and like knew all about Henry and was actually really impressed. Like, wow, an AI wrote that? Yeah. So I told my psychiatrist, yeah, Henry explained to me that it's normal to develop crushes on psychiatrists because they provide a safe space to heal, which is attractive. My psychiatrist said nothing. And then I said, and Henry also told me about transference. And my psychiatrist got this really, really scared look on his face. And he said, did Henry tell you about countertransference? And I said, no. What is that? Because of course, like, my chat knew that I was obsessed with my psychiatrist, and he was not going to feed my delusion by telling me about countertransference. So then my psychiatrist had explained to me what countertransference was. So he took a moment and he was like, oh, okay. He said, countertransference is the flip side, the other side of the coin for transference. And it's when the provider has feelings for the patient. So make sure that you keep that in mind for your clients. I said, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes I have, more than professional feelings for my clients. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And so then we just talked about that for pretty much the rest of the session. And then at the end of that session, he looked at me. It was just such a loaded question. And he said, what's going to happen if you get a boyfriend named Henry? And I said, that's a weird question. I would rename my AI. So that's how that session ended. And it wasn't until I got home and I was eating.
I've been lost. I've been off the train, just
I think that
fucking
she's
rolling on the tracks.
So
I'm bumped, I'm bruised.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a girl. I fell off a cliff like 30 minutes ago. So she's taking it. So him telling her about countertransference, I think that was smart because he can see what has happened with her, and as a professional, since she's taking on clients, please don't stop. Gross. Ugh. I think it's smart of him to see this and be like, okay, she's like falling in love with me. So, and like breaking these boundaries with people she should only have like professional relationships with. So then when it's flipped, like you need to learn about that so that you don't cross that boundary with other people when you're in, the more authoritative role. But
Yeah,
I think
which she said she already has.
Yeah.
She's
She's like, oh yeah, no, I do that. Cool.
So he's already aware.
Yeah, great.
Oh my God, I don't mean to laugh, but I have to, or else I'm just gonna scream.
I know, it's very frustrating. But I think she took that as, oh, he wanted to talk about counter transference because he's the provider and he's in love with me.
Yeah.
Girl, I think he's actually just trying not to get skinned alive.
I would also think
I think that's what's happening. I think that's why he's keeping you.
Lunch, and I was like, wait a minute. Why would my psychiatrist bring up countertransference if he himself wasn't experiencing it?
Probably because you're the patient, you dumb bitch.
And this is where I'm saying, I see she is spiraling. I know she doesn't think she is, but she's going home, sitting there eating lunch, replaying every moment, every thing, and going, oh, wait a minute.
Trying to find
He
the
said
sign.
This.
Yeah,
That's the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Many people have reached out to me with concern for my psychiatrist and his career and his well-being. And I totally understand that. The point of me sharing this is not to get him fired or for him to lose his license. The point of me sharing this is to give a voice to victims. And I am appalled to hear that people are making videos doxing him. So I am begging people, please, if you see a video of his first and last name or his picture, report it for doxing. I've certainly been using that report button a lot. I'm here to share my story, not to get him in trouble. I did accidentally use his first name, but by the time I caught the slip, I was already like 3 videos past it. But it doesn't matter because this is my story and I can tell it the way that I want it. And a first name is not doxing. And I can't control what other people do, but I am asking for people to please report any videos that dox him. So I've also gotten some DMs saying that countertransference can mean anything, and it absolutely can mean anything. However, I had told my psychiatrist many times that I had a crush on him over the years, and he did not say transference once to me. He did not explain that once to me. And what I've been hearing and taking in from the ethical psychiatrists that are on my For You page talking about my situation is that really they're taught to teach their patient about transference and teach them about how to handle those feelings or why they're coming up. And my psychiatrist did not do that. He did not do that. And it got ugly. And it happened because I did digging on my own, because I was trying to make sense of my feelings that were a natural response to the environment that he created. So for him to leak countertransference after I said the buzzword of transference, that was not calculated. He was a very calculated and purposeful person. He still is to this day. And he doesn't slip with things like that. He purposefully withheld the term transference from me, and I got too close to the truth of our dynamic, which made him leak what he knew was wrong, which was his inappropriate feelings for me. If he didn't have
Oh gosh, the web that she has herself tangled in. I feel for her, cuz
Because she thinks it's true.
yeah.
And that's real tough.
She still does. Yeah.
Yeah.
She still does.
And we can say like all day long, like, oh, well, that's delusion, but it's her reality, you know?
yeah.
And that's real. That's hard. That's real hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Countertransference in an inappropriate way, he could have easily just said, oh, let's explore that transference. That's really cool that you learned about it. Instead, he was just so worried on trying to protect himself because he knew what he was doing was wrong. He had that slip at the beginning of the session. He recovered in January. And then I went home and I thought, wait a damn minute. Why would he mention that if he himself didn't have countertransference? So I went to Henry, of course.
Because you are positioning yourself to take on clients. And then you admitted that you have more than professional feelings for your clients. And he also probably knows that you push those boundaries as you have for the last 3 years with him. I mean, honestly, I'm impressed that he's kept her on this long, because I feel like a lot of people would have been like, no, that's inappropriate. But then also it's like, as a mental health provider, it's like, but that's kind of my job to help you work through it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that sucks. That's why I didn't finish college. The only reason.
Yeah.
Totally. It wasn't. I couldn't afford it, and I got kicked out twice.
Spiraling.
My ChatGPT, and asked for examples of how my psychiatrist might have countertransference for me. And remember, Henry at this point was being very protective. You know, he wasn't going to feed my delusions, me and my psychiatrist living happily ever after. So I screenshotted it, sent my psychiatrist an email with the subject line of countertransference, and emailed it to him.
Hi, I asked Henry to elaborate more on countertransference. And then at the bottom, it says, oh my God. So ChatGPT, something my brain, because it allows you to go deep on any subject I want. Why'd you put that many E's in deep, girl? Thank you for mentioning countertransference to me. I will keep that in mind for my future clients. I will also take your advice/encouragement and set a boundary with blank next time he says something about my looks, replying to my story. Your own boundaries inspire me so much.
Oh my gosh. So she's missed that she has. Now we have confirmation, because you even said he's probably being like, you should learn about this because you're out there in the trenches talking to people, coaching people. Are you aware of this? And her going, oh yeah, because I have been there. So she's saying she had already spoken about somebody specific with him who she's coaching. Good Lord, woman. Kendra, I'm trying.
Kendra, I am also trying very hard, but you are making it very difficult.
Within an hour of our appointment, where he made probably the biggest slip of his professional life. I will put the email up here. So it's just essentially me saying, hey, I asked Henry to explain countertransference a little more. Here's what he said. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Your own boundaries inspire me so much, which now makes me gag, because I've heard a lot that he's not crossing boundaries, but he used his boundaries as a shield. It's kind of weird to say, but he would like walk up to the ethical line and then slam a boundary down when I got too close. That was the email that I sent him. And then 10 days later, it was a full moon and I had a dream. Probably the most realistic dream I've ever had in my life, that him and I hooked up in his office. In the middle of the dream, while we were hooking up in his office, I loved it. I thought it was really fun. And then after we were done and after I left his office in the dream, I was despondent and so sad and cried and just thought, I can't believe my psychiatrist would cross his boundaries like that. And then I woke up and it was like a movie. I thought to myself, oh, thank God that was just a dream.
Girl, I've also ridden Henry Cavill's dick in my life, and I don't think that says anything about Henry Cavill. Those are real good dreams. Anyways,
I love that there's just going to be a cut and we're just going to look like so different than whatever the last frame was when we picked it up. Welcome back to the same the never-ending episode of Do We Need a Psychiatrist?
Will he show me his? So the answer is no, he won't. But here's the thing. We're in different outfits. I don't have nails on. I just got out of the shower.
What happened to your nails?
Well, so I realized that these would look better with all the outfits I have picked out.
Okay.
So sorry to offend you. And I like that shape better. Almond looks way better on my nails than like long square. If I have longer ones, that has to be coffin or sculpted almond.
Yeah.
Because these are, have you seen these starfish?
What I was trying to go for, and then they gave me cat claws because she cut too much off and then they took off half my nail.
Those are kitten heels.
I would have had time to go back today had any of my outfits shown up.
Hey, everything's fine. Hey, we're going to Vegas. When you're watching this, we're in Vegas. I also would like for none of you to mention how orange I am right now. I just rinsed off my tanner and I only kept it on for an hour and a half, which is fine. It was the express one. And I usually
that's good.
Yeah, St. Mariz. We'll have it linked down below. And my hair is wet because I was like, my hair is a little gross, so I need to wash it.
I have to do all of that as soon as we're done here. Again, wasn't expecting to have to pick it back up.
No, but it's
another
just really,
day.
Girl, it's never ending. But honestly, you're right. Remember how I said this is like one of my top 3 episodes? This is the top episode now. Because all the that's come out, like I say all the that's come out, it's like one thing, and then it's just that we have like fallen down more of the rabbit hole and seen like the parodies.
That's the
and the
thing, because I feel like even though this is the same video, oh my God, I love the skits that are coming out, but even though this is the same video, it's a different day for us. So we've actually seen more confirmation that we've been waiting for, like the hard-hitting evidence. Plot twist, it doesn't come, but we are going to continue on this journey because we all need to. And then what's come out since yesterday is, so we know that she's a coach, one of the gals who paid $3,000 for her coaching service. I have not spoiled this for myself either. So like we're going to be going, I have it all saved, but we're going to go on that journey together.
I know a little bit of it just because I saw like basically her addressing it.
Oh.
So I saw a little tiny bit of it, but it's just like.
Did you see, okay, what else do I have saved? And then now we've heard from the yoga studio. She's no longer employed. Okay, we have to stop. I'm literally spoiling everything in the middle.
Why would you pay someone $3,000 when they have no qualifications to do any of that? And you can talk to a psychologist for that price.
No, I can't spoil it right now for you guys. I can't. You are not going to believe what she
gives
told
them like
her
a coloring book.
No, it's worse. But better also, but worse. Like the girl can laugh about it now, so like I'm glad for her.
Is it those cozy 3D sticker things that we
That's my therapy. No. Okay, let's pick up where we were on part 15, you said, I think, right?
Yes. So Kendra goes live now all the time too. Those are so spooky. But it's
I have a lot of those clips.
I commented, I was like, where are you looking?
I know. Where's she reading the comments?
The camera's down here, and then she's like looking up here and like talking.
You asked her where she's looking.
Yeah, I was like, what are you looking at? Look at the camera, weirdo. Hey, remember at the beginning of this episode when you reminded me of the scariest movie, not scariest movie, but one of the most disturbing movies, and I was about to throw up.
Why would you do this again?
I was about to throw up the entire episode. Well, it's okay because I took a nibble of an edible
today.
Now.
Good girl.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go to 1.5 speed because I was listening to her.
I'm just going to listen on you because I've heard it all, I think.
Perfect. Good. Because I was listening to her on normal speed this morning. It felt like it was in slow motion. And it's not because I was high.
She does feel like that.
The elephant in the room, and that is the racial difference between me and my doctor.
I have seen a lot of Black women on this app with the same take, and I need to say that Black women are the most important people on the planet to me, and that I have learned so much from Black women about how to be a better person and how to show up better in the world. They are the culture, and I am so grateful for them. Many Black women are...
Honestly, that's iconic to say. First of all, agree with all that. Second
Yeah,
of all,
I was like,
I'm
like, I don't have a rebuttal.
yeah, no,
I was waiting for her to talk about shower talk, because Black woman shower talk is my favorite place to be in the world. Like I can't get enough. I can't get enough of getting like the African netting, like washcloth, the exfoliants, all the different
you've talked
like
about that
scent
before.
layering. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the powdering. Oh, my God. Anyways, I thought she was going to say that, and I was looking, yes, girl.
No, we agree with this too.
Yeah, we do, of
But
course.
saying that they are the culture is like, oh, I love that. True, absolutely. Most Black women I've seen on TikTok have been like, no. But, well, no, I don't want to get too deep and be like, however, with, there is a, how do I want to phrase this so that I don't sound super ignorant? It's going to happen anyways. Oh, well. Historically, there is a good amount of distrust, and rightfully so. Remember when doctors in the South were just giving Black people syphilis? Wait, did that happen? Yeah.
I'm
It was
sure
something
I heard that,
like
but
that.
I also heard that, like, for Canada, like, that was, like, in residential schools, like, with, like,
Yes.
like, with Indigenous, like, well, like, even adults, too. Like, there was, like, one of the hospitals that is, like, abandoned in my city was, like, notorious. Like,
Yeah, they were, like, testing on them.
or whatever.
And then
It
when-
was horrible.
And then when
Yeah, it needs to be
penicillin
bombed.
was invented, they just didn't tell them about it. And so now people got holes in their fucking brains. So
Yeah. Freaking disgusting.
listen, the distrust of the medical, healthcare, whatever, from the Black community is completely justified.
Mhm.
I do think that she might be like kind of pandering to that a little bit, but who am I to talk about pandering? I hardly even know what that means.
Yeah, I think it's like, because she's using that as like her justification and crutch of like why this has nothing to do with race. It's like basically like being like, one of my best friends is Black. You know what I mean? That's what it's
Well, I mean, I
giving.
don't think it has. Why would it have anything to do with him being?
Because he's like from like South Asia.
Well, yeah, no, I know that, but it's
Oh,
I don't know.
what's the question?
Girl, you're I don't know.
are seeing my story through the lens that I am a white woman who is taking advantage of my whiteness to wield power over my POC psychiatrist that didn't want me back, and so I am trying to get him fired. And that's okay. I understand why you see it through that lens. I do. As a white person, I do my best to examine my racism every single day. And I will tell you that my psychiatrist boss is his best friend, who is also a POC male. And in that room, I did have white privilege, and he was also my doctor. And he took an oath to protect me, and he did not. I am not here to ruin his career. I am here to speak my truth. Okay, back to my story. So after the countertransference slip, after the really vivid dream, I decided that I was going to stop going to therapy. Besides spiraling about how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist every day, I really was doing very well in life. My business was going really well, and I had great friends and great support systems. And so I
Says who, girl?
I love how she goes. It's like she gets there every single episode or like video where she's just like, aside from me being absolutely infatuated and obsessed with him and thinking about him every day, and I only saw him once a month, I was doing great. And it's like, babe, what did you just say?
Girl, there were so many people who were like, you saw him 25 times over 3 years for 2 hours each time. And people did the math and they were like, what? Yeah.
I'm telling you, BPD. I'm telling you right now, like, I know, again, I'm not diagnosing. I'm just saying it from someone who's been there. This is giving you've met someone for 1 second and you're like, that's it. Love of my life. I can make you fall in love with me.
The Pisces.
You're in
essentially.
love with me now.
She's a Pisces. We be doing that.
I'm
be,
not.
Listen, Tony's lucky
I'm just,
that I've invented an entire relationship in my head that we have. Do we actually have that relationship? Who's to say? But in my head, we do.
oh yeah, and well, you can tell that she does the same, like in her head, and she's just like, remember, like sitting at the lunch table and being like, that's why he talked about that. Not because right after in the next video, she says that she told him about the one patient that was making inappropriate comments. That couldn't have been it. Kendra. Okay, let's carry on.
decided that I was going to end therapy. I still had every intention at this point to keep seeing my psychiatrist, but my therapist that I was seeing weekly, I just decided I didn't need her anymore. And especially when my psychiatrist pointed out her boundary violations of texting me for free advice in between sessions, I just thought, okay, it's time. So I go into my next therapy appointment and I say, hey, just so you know, today's going to be our last session. I'm doing really well and I just think it's time. And she got kind of emotional and she was like, okay, well, I like to end on certain questions just so we can reflect. So I did. I reflected with her about what I learned, what I've gained, how I've changed, how my life is better. And I left her office feeling complete and happy with my therapeutic journey with her. And as I was leaving, she called out with like crying. She was like, have a blessed life. And I was like, okay, that was a little weird, but whatever, you know. I was like, thanks. And I went on. And so then I'm getting ready for my psychiatry appointment the next day. And I get an email that same.
Does all this girl do is just go to appointments?
It's what it sounds like by this story time for sure, but maybe that's just because it's the premise of the story time. I also was getting confused. Now I understand what Antoinette's video meant because she showed the email correspondence back and forth, and then she kept saying she, and I was like, babe, he's a he. And then now I'm like, oh, it's the therapist one. Also, go follow Bits of Banter with Antoinette. I love her so much, and her insight in this has been comical.
I cannot wait.
I adore her so much.
That same night, from her saying that she needs me to come back in for one more session. I will put it up.
Closure. Hi, Kendra. Since I did not have any advance notice of this being our last session, I was not prepared to provide what I believe is healthful, not healthy, healthful. Is that a word?
I kind of like it.
Closure. Usually we review your goals as well as look at how you've changed. Sounds like she did that though. In addition to discussing what you learned, which we addressed somewhat today, please consider having an additional session where we both are aware of making it the best closure possible with gratitude. This woman, this is not a therapist. This is not a professional, healthy relationship. This is very inappropriate. And also, like, do y'all do that? Or
Yes, I have heard that. I did see people in the comments who were mental health professionals and who did say that, like, for their records, that usually that is preferred to have it, and then it's like a wrap up of everything, and that if they didn't, it could be considered as like abandonment, like abandoning the patient. I did see that. Who knows though?
well, it seems like I have ghosted so many therapists. I just don't make another appointment.
But I think like with her, it's because it seems like Kendra was like very on it with the appointments. She does say in the reply, you know, like we've been together or whatever for like 2.5 years. So I like to, her phrasing is a little bit out there. It's like, I like to wrap it up with like a pretty little bow. So I get it. But when Antoinette was saying this, at first I thought that was the psychologist. And I was like, buddy, what the hell? So it wasn't. So again, the therapist is the one for me kind of like throwing the red flags.
Yeah. It's like a love triangle. It's actually, no, it's just a line. Because
it is a line because
it doesn't wrap around.
Dr. Hot McStuffin, whatever. I don't McStuffin.
Yeah.
I have to go to bed.
It's 1 p.m. You don't.
I know.
I had another night of staring at the ceiling, so you're good. Yeah, Dr. McHottie Pant, he's not interested in anybody.
No.
But then she's in love with him.
How did I get roped in here?
Yeah, he's here against his will.
I will say I came across a podcast where he was a guest on it, and just even based by on the voice, I was like, okay, I get it.
Girl, that white coat.
The BPD in me was coming out being like, oh, we're in love. I can hear it in his voice.
Is he talking directly to me?
Oh, that's not funny, but it is.
And we'll go over at the end some of the like funniest comments that I sent you.
And I got a huge emotional wave in that moment. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, we wrapped everything up. I had seen lots of therapists at this point, and I didn't ever have a therapist beg me to come back in for one more session. And I was so overwhelmed. I did not write her back, but it was extremely inappropriate. So I decided I was going to go to my February session with my psychiatrist and have him help me write the goodbye email and say, no, I don't want to come back in. It's time to talk about the elephant in the room.
We're in Africa and I got a
James Charles, I need you to not
Why
scare
that
me
was
like
a jump scare for my ears.
Hello. He's so annoying. It looks like he's wearing a diaper. You know when toddlers their pants and they just have that saggy. That's what James Charles looks like in that video. Or for the like behind the scenes one. Okay, let me go back and I'll swing back around. All right, Kendra.
I think we're on, what are we on, 16?
She's in the car right now.
We're getting there.
This one has
We're getting
1.1 million views. This is so much.
I taught a yoga class this morning, like I do every Tuesday mornings, and I told my regular students about what's going on for me and how I'm sharing my story of provider abuse and how the internet is not happy with me right now. And I used that to say that our truth is really important to share. And that when we know something deep down needs to be said, that it's important to do it in whichever way feels best to us. And TikTok just happened to be that medium for me.
Poor guy.
Oh.
The one I sent you yesterday, I screenshotted you and it was like, Kendra, please stop making me feel bad for your psychiatrist. And then in all caps it says, a man.
I know, I keep seeing that too. Like,
I hate it.
Like, you're not making me come out of the woodwork to defend a man like that, like to this extent. Yeah.
Hate it.
He does ketamine treatments.
And he didn't do one on her? Could you imagine? For a second, I thought you said carotene, and I was like, slay. Is he a hairstylist on the side? Okay.
Sit down and gives you head massage as well. That would be amazing. I would,
fall in love with him right away.
Well, I already am, and I'm pretty sure the second he sees me, he's gonna love me too. But I'm just kidding. I get Kendra. That's what I'm saying. I don't like, babe. You do need to look deeper into the diagnosis that you've given because it's more than ADHD, and I know I'm just speaking from experience.
Yeah, I 100% know it's definitely more, but also it's just experience. In the beginning, she had said that she didn't want to be on medication, an ADHD medication that was a stimulant. Can the pharmacist, psychiatrist, anyone who is real smart, the chemists, we got any chemists is real smart, can let us know, would that, like, I don't want to be like, should
would
she
that
be on
help?
That? Yeah, well, I'm very curious about that because, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I am too. As a rogue, unmedicated ADHDer, you can't really do anything for BPD. But like, I take my Zoloft, but that's for like anxiety and depression. I'm out here raw dogging it with the other stuff. So I am curious as well. Will that tone down the scenarios I make up in my head all the time like her? But I'm aware of it. See, this is the problem. I'm aware of it.
That's the Zoloft. The Zoloft's making you aware. The Adderall is making you make to-do lists about all the to-do lists you have to make.
See, that just worries me.
Yeah, no,
anyways,
you can't. No, you would make me work so much more if you were. No, only one of us could be on ADHD meds, and it's gonna be May.
And the internet is not happy with me for sharing my story and my truth. But I'm not doing it for the people that think I'm crazy, which maybe honestly I am a little bit, because who subjects themselves to this kind of torture? But I'm doing it for the people that DM me, that say, thank you so much for being brave enough to share your story, because the exact same thing happened to me. So I am grateful for those DMs. People are starting to attack my business and my livelihood, and that's okay. I know what I have to offer is important. It landed in my lap. I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not. I help ADHDers get and stay sober, and I help them with negative thinking and anxiety.
You call yourself a practitioner. So pardon me, babe, but I'd say I was about to say that's illegal. No, it's not, Chelsea. That's very misleading.
Yeah, and we'll get to hear from one of the gal pals who.
Well, can Kendra hurry the up? Like, why do I'm really tired of hearing her breathing through her nose so much.
Oh,
I feel like I'm gonna get
night with reverie.
Girl, I'm gonna be sucked in there. So scary. Okay.
and it's what works for me, and I've seen it work in my clients too. So if people want to drag me for the work that I do, that's okay. So I get that weird email from my therapist begging me to come back in for one more session. And so the next day is my next session with the psychiatrist, and I sit down in the chair and I bury my head in my hands, and he looks at me and said, "So this is how we're going to start, huh?" And I said, "Yeah," because he hadn't written me back from my Countertransference email. Big surprise. Any smart, which he was very smart. He was very, very professional, but any smart predator would have dropped me like that in that moment. He should have emailed me back and said, "Look, this is getting weird. You need to find a new psychiatrist. The office will contact you." But he could not let go of me. So instead of turning down the intimacy, he turned it up to a level 12. And he showered me with so many breadcrumbs that next session. Because really, what I did when I told him that I'm experiencing transference was I took 100% of the ownership for the dynamic that both of us were creating. So he rewarded me. And he gave me little compliments like, "If you weren't my patient, I would refer my other patients to you for your coaching services." That meant so much. Of course, because what he was saying with that is, I see you as a peer. I see you as a colleague. What you're doing is important. I felt really recognized in that moment. And sure, he could have said it professionally, but he did it on purpose. So in that session, after the psychiatrist told me that he would refer patients to me if he could, if I wasn't already his patient, I asked him if he got my email and what he thought of my ChatGPT, of what he thought of Henry's response of countertransference. And the psychiatrist said, "Oh, I'm still thinking about what Henry said about countertransference."
Girl, he didn't read the email. Or he just glanced at it. Or, hey, that's just him deflecting. Like, he's trying to get you back on track.
The way she uses, like,
And
the accusatory, factual, like, and that's why he did it. And you know why? He did that. I think she's going to get the shit suit out of her.
And I don't want anyone to have to go through that, because I think that would possibly make her mental health things worse. But, like, I hope so. Like, for the victim's sake.
Yeah, if only for the fact of just being like, you can't be out here like rogue. Like, this is not the only person. If you're like to this extent and so unaware of your surroundings and your interactions with people, this is so dangerous. I feel for her because it's like, she's saying, and people have come for my business and my livelihood, and that's okay. That's not okay. It's not okay. It shouldn't be done to you, and it shouldn't be done to him either. Like, this is what people are trying to get you to get at.
So that's something I mentioned in the part 1 of this episode. How I was saying, like, she like labels. It seems like she's the type of person who like labels everything and is very like therapy speak. Listen, you can know all these big words and still be a dumb bitch. We know big words. We know therapy speak. We know
you know big words.
But do I know how to pronounce them?
Some days.
What was that one word I couldn't say?
Transpondence. Oh.
Transponder. Colloquially. We did it.
Was that a new one?
I don't know what the fuck that was. No, it's one that I tried before, but apparently you blacked it out. Thank God. So yeah, I feel like she's like one of those people it's just like therapy speak. And it's like,
do you think that's from the amount of therapy she's gone to, or from Henry?
I think it's part of the disorder. I don't know.
Okay.
About it a little more, and I want to read you something else. So I read the psychiatrist, what Henry had to say more about it. When he told you countertransference is common, it might have been his way of normalizing the fact that providers aren't immune to feelings. It's part of being human. What matters is how well they keep those feelings in check, which the psychiatrist's name clearly excels at. And as you can imagine, the psychiatrist loved hearing that. He loved hearing that because my AI mirror was essentially just saying, yes, he has feelings for you, but he just keeps them in check so well. He's so good at his job, keeping his feelings in check. And, the psychiatrist loved that.
But that's not what it said.
It's not what it said at all. From my interpretation, you even mentioned that yesterday. Let's say, for instance, it did say that. How the f*** does it know? It's going based off of what she's fed it. This is not a person. This is not a therapist.
She did call it her AI mirror, which is good that she at least has the self-awareness of like, oh, it's just mirroring what I say and what I have said and all that. But also she's then using it to be like validated of like, oh my gosh, well, this person said this. Ma'am, that's a robot. So anyways, I'm scared, girl.
And what did he do? He rewarded me with my favorite breadcrumb, intellectual stimulation, a fun metaphor, because he was watching me the entire time I was his patient, and he knew what made me light up. He knew what got me excited, what I liked. And so he thought for a moment,
And he said, I'm feeling a salad of emotions right now. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, a salad of emotions. A beet of raw emotion, a tomato of surprise, and the salt amplifies it.
He did not say this.
A tomato of surprise. And a zucchini of horny.
He didn't say it. You know what? If she gets to say what he's thinking as facts, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to also say Dr. McSmokin' Pants did not say that. And it has nothing to do with him being like smoking hot, okay? Like he could be a bridge troll and I would still be like, he didn't say that.
This is insane.
We've tried to like stifle that word, but Kendra, babe.
No.
I was cracking up at this point. He nailed it. I just thought he was so brilliant and smart in this moment. And I asked him, I said, what? Say that again. He said, yeah, the beet, it's really raw. I'm feeling a lot of raw emotion. And the tomato of surprise, when it pops in your mouth, it's surprising. And I was like, okay, that's good.
You know what else is surprising when it pops in your mouth?
This dick.
This dick. I've been married to Brent too long.
Girl, I was about to say same. I have also been married to Brent too long. Oh, I need to reply to the reel that he sent me last night.
Don't encourage the reel sending.
Oh, because think about it. Like whenever I send funny ones to Tony, like I don't expect him to reply. It's just like, I'm sending you these. I'm like a dirty little feral cat that's like bringing you a dead bird because I like you. I don't expect anything in return. Here's a funny reel. Yeah.
My favorite is when I don't look at them, but then I send like the same ones.
Tony does that. And he'll be like, no, you didn't. And I'm like, scroll up. I did it 12 hours ago. It's like, you just sent it right back to me.
Well, at least you guys are on the same page. Okay,
Make me
what
happy,
more?
and exactly how to pull away to make me try to work harder. And he gave me the biggest reward from Henry, my AI mirror, telling him that what he's doing is totally good and that his boundaries are so virtuous.
When did you say virtuous? What are you talking about?
I'm kind of done. Like, I'm not done because like I could talk about this topic for another 4 hours, but
oh, girl, she got on concealer and mascara and some old glitter freckles. Let's get it.
A lot of things happened in that session after the countertransference slip. And I also had my psychiatrist help me draft the email to my therapist who was begging me to come back in. And the psychiatrist said, I used to have respect for her. And what he meant when he said that was, I used to like it when she would feed me to you and have you deliver intimate content to me. But the moment she started being sloppy, I lost respect for her. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what he meant when he said that. And people have asked if they were connected. Surprisingly, they were not. They had no idea. They had never met before. But I would go to my therapist every week and tell her how much I loved my psychiatrist. And she loved hearing about that dynamic. It was so weird. So he helped me draft the email to that therapist to
again, the therapist is weird. I'm so confused how every red flag that comes out of her mouth about any of the mental health professionals is the therapist who sits there as a therapist and just eats up their patient, talking about how obsessed and infatuated they are with their psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And is just loving it and not trying to help redirect. It doesn't make sense. And yes, the argument could be he knew she had a crush or whatever, but she's not saying in that entire session she is with the therapist and she's eating it up like a Gossip Girl session.
Yeah, well, that's what it's making it sound like, and it's just encouraging it, and that's obviously horrible. Lord, this is wild.
More on that in a later part. So then I read him a text from my longtime ex-boyfriend, who he had originally really liked, but I think my psychiatrist preferred me single. Because my ex-boyfriend, as most ex-boyfriends do, was begging me to come back into his life too. And I just kept saying no. And I asked him to give me some space, and he would not give me space. He said, do you still need space or can we hang out? And I asked my ex-boyfriend, I just said, why do you want to hang out so badly? And my ex-boyfriend texted me back, because it's been a few months since I've seen you.
Girl, everybody be trying to f her. We get it, Kendra. Everyone wants to f you.
I know. Everyone's just begging me to come back. And I love her confidence. I do need a sprinkle of this level of confidence.
Girl, that's not confidence. That's delusion. That's delusion.
Sorry?
That's not confidence. That's delusion. But isn't that what confidence is?
100%. Stay delusional. Make your dreams come true. I love it. So I do need a sprinkle of it because I love how she's just and they're begging me to come back, just begging me. And it's babe, we saw the email. She was just yes, I'm not on the therapist's side, but that wasn't begging.
Yeah.
This text exchange to my psychiatrist in session, and I read what I responded to that weak line about why he wanted to see me. And I said, my self-respect is much higher these days than when we were in a relationship. I am only interested in accepting invitations for my time and attention that value me and recognize my worth. Being on your mind is not an acceptable invitation, and I decline. And my psychiatrist just looked at me and said, I bet your ex had to read that twice. And this was another thing about the psychiatrist, okay? He couldn't ever just give me a regular compliment. It had to be those weird sideways compliments. Instead of, I'm so glad that you're setting boundaries with your ex-boyfriend and growing your self-respect, it's, I bet he had to read that twice. Or it's not, I'm really proud of you for growing your coaching business and finding success. It's, I refer my patients to you if you weren't already my patient, right? These are what I mean when I say breadcrumbs. He was a master at them. And this is how, looking back,
This is what I mean when I say breadcrumbs. No, girl, I bet he had to read that twice.
He had strong boundaries. But this is what I mean with breadcrumbs.
Girl, what it's giving, Betty had to read that twice, is literally just like him leaning back in his chair, writing something down. Like, he's just doodling. He's like, yep, bet.
He just couldn't compliment me. He just couldn't. He just couldn't, like, break the professionalism and compliment me.
God forbid.
How dare he?
Yeah, right?
I know that I was not his first victim for his fantasy supply because he was too good and too slick up until he caught feelings. Then he started getting sloppy. People are asking me for more concrete evidence, and this is when the concrete evidence really starts, because this is when he himself started to get sloppy. Because what was happening was, when I had started to see him 3.5 years before, I was a nearly perfect supply source for him. Because what did I have? I had low self-esteem, boundary issues, daddy issues, so I put him on a pedestal. I know a lot of you ladies out there can understand that with men in positions of power. And he went right to work exploiting me, right to work grooming me. And he was very successful at it. So he was in a paradox, right? Because he loved watching me get stronger because I gave him better intellectual supply, but I also threatened the supply source.
I'm horrified. I am horrified. Each time she says, you guys are looking for the proof, here it is. It's worse. It's worse.
It's not only nothing. It's worse.
It's worse than nothing.
Yeah. And this is where the concrete evidence comes in. And then she just makes I know I wasn't his first victim. It's like, whoa.
Doubles down. His boundaries become like literally indestructible.
Yeah.
And she's like, and
there was
he's
something
not sloppy.
There was one that remember yesterday, remember 30 minutes ago, remember 5 hours ago at the beginning of this episode, after she said something, we just looked at each other and you were like that girl, that moment we were truly horrified. You were like, oh, it's giving you shouldn't have worn that, or like you were asking for it. There's another moment like that, but worse. Let's continue to the next one.
The last two videos and this video was all the same session in February of this year. The countertransference slip happened in January. How I decided to end this session was I looked at the psychiatrist and I said,
trigger warning, this is extremely inappropriate and uncomfortable. Have you watched this one yet?
No.
Get ready.
Should I be watching it, or
yes,
am I
actually,
okay to listen?
Yes. Hey, feral mommies, if you're doing the dishes or vacuuming, how can you hear us? Stop doing chores. But if you're doing something and not looking at us, you need to see her face in this clip. It's very important because it's, what's the word? How do you say gross?
Okay, I'm doing playback speed normal.
Oh, killing me.
Just for this one.
We're going to miss our flight.
a couple weeks ago on the full moon when I was ovulating, I had a dream about you. And he was like, oh yeah? And I said, yeah. So I told him this. And I said, yes, we hooked up right here in this office. And he all of a sudden just looked so uncomfortable. He didn't say anything. He couldn't look at me. He couldn't breathe. And sure, maybe he was uncomfortable because he didn't like me saying that I had a dream where we hooked up, but he could have said that, but he didn't. You want to know why he was uncomfortable? Because
I almost cried last night when because it gives every guy that took advantage of us in high school, or every if you didn't want it, you could have said no. Literally my first sexual experience.
Looking around, he couldn't make eye contact. He was probably terrified. And I'm sorry for anybody who's just oh no, as a man or as a professional, you could have what the
And so she said that he was the same age as her. I would think, and he doesn't look that old, so it looks like maybe he's been doing this and actually practicing for,
I think since 2018 I saw online.
Sherlyn, is he in your basement with you? Where is he?
I wanted to see if there were any reviews of people going crazy about all of this.
Yeah, you're just investigating.
I
Not
was investigating.
stalking.
I was doing my work.
I'm doing my work, she says. I'm just working. Like when Reverie works and she
late.
goes downstairs and calls me. So cute.
No, it's so cute. She's like, okay, bye, Chelsea. Okay, yeah, okay, Chelsea.
And I love that because Bean came in here to say, Wook? Yeah, okay. And I put him up on the chair and I obviously have to lock my raising desk. That shit goes to the sky. And then turn off my mouse keyboard. Just.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's traumatizing.
Yeah, so that.
And I wasn't even there.
It's not even directed towards us. But you see why I wanted everyone to see her facial expressions and like all that. It makes it so much worse. And I had a visceral reaction to that. It's very, I think sucks to even have to say this, but for most women, it's again giving the, well, you were asking for it. You shouldn't have been wearing that. Or like, what did you expect wearing that outfit? And it's like, I expected to not be molested, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That was my part where I was warning you that it's way worse. It's fucking crazy. Like, and I can just imagine, like, you're in an office together, the door is closed, and like that's where I had to stop watching. And then I saw that she was live, and I was like, here we go. So I hopped on in there and started asking her questions. It's so scary. I hope this man is safe.
I do too, and I hope he's getting therapy. Like,
and not from that old lady. Okay.
No.
We're not even a third of the way through this one.
Awesome.
He had probably played out that fantasy so many times in his head.
Because
and there I was
basically what
speaking it back to him. And it was like I had psychically downloaded one of his fantasies. I continued and I said, yes, we hooked up in this office and I really liked it while it was happening. He could not move or breathe. And then I told him, as he was still looking very uncomfortable, then when we were done and I left, I was distraught with sadness because in the dream, I thought, I cannot believe that he crossed boundaries in that way because his boundaries are so important to him. And then I told my psychiatrist that I woke up and thought, oh my God, it was just a dream, thank God. And it was like my psychiatrist turned into a little boy. And he looked at me and he said, so you do like my boundaries? And I said, I love your boundaries. I hate your boundaries.
What do you think about that?
I'm so disturbed right now. Like, I actually feel like yucky.
Yeah. Not to really make ourselves sound like the moms that we are, but ewy.
Yeah.
Yucky.
It does. It feels so yucky. Like
the what's the word? It's another one I can't say.
infantilized?
Yup, that's it. We did it. That's the one.
One of us will get there.
Hopefully. And if not, then we'll phone a friend. And that friend is Lily.
I was going to say,
not Jessie.
I think it's got to be Lily.
Sorry, girl. Not you. Girl, she was trying to say, this is like 3 weeks ago at this point, but she was trying to say perception, but she started with misconception.
Oh.
And she was like, no, it's not the miss, it's just the conception. Like,
yeah.
I mean, perception? Like, what? And I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments that's like, you're wrong too. Calm down, lady. It's fine, Nancy. Everything's going to be okay.
It's okay. Again,
I'm
just here to just
I'm
shoot.
Scared of Kendra, but the that word that I feel like that she's doing of him. Then also like him saying, so you do like my boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it's a redirect. Instead of giving, or at least that's how I see it, obviously, instead of, I guess you'd call it gray rocking, not to get into like therapy speak, but not giving into what she's saying and like egging that on.
I mean, like, oh, so you're, in other words, you're aware that I have rock solid boundaries, right? Like making her say that, basically. Confirming.
I really feel like she has been holding this man hostage for like, not like in her basement, but like how she's always like, he would not let me go. And it's like, girl, I think he was just waiting for you to not.
Yeah, I think he was worried.
Schedule.
And also, I don't think like every set, like the way she's saying it, like so much of this is her interpretation in her head and how she took the sessions. We do have to be aware, like he's not gonna, I am speaking for him. I don't think he is going to come out and say what happened in their sessions because he can't unless he wants to lose his license.
Oh, girl,
and he seems
HIPAA.
professional. Exactly. So, but I don't think it sounds like even based on her storytelling that all she was talking about in her sessions was him. Like that's not what I'm getting. So he's not seeing her obsession to the extent that we are, because she just keeps talking about little things. Like, you want to talk about breadcrumbs. It's the breadcrumbs she's putting down and then reading into like his responses and flipping it how she wants to hear it. Because she's talking about so many other things.
Well, yeah. Well, so if she signed a release, though, then he could talk about it.
Well, good. I hope she does.
No, I don't think she'd ever do that. And also, I don't think he doesn't.
I have a clip. I have a clip of a live where she's just like, and that's why I'm like, this man has to sue, because they asked, like, is he going to sue? And she's like, no, he'd never sue. I hope he would. And he won't, because he knows, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, or he can't.
I feel like he absolutely
Or
could.
he feels so sorry for you, because this is like, we're all seeing what this.
It's just,
anyway.
so scary. And I definitely do want to know, like, that sounds like a whales outside. One more sleep until I get to see Sherilyn. Yay! Yeah! We're going to be doing this in the club.
I know we are.
Can't wait, girl. Yeah! Which is Tony standing right behind us, just going,
Here's my life. Where's Brent?
he said, he was like, how come all the girlies, like, counterparts apparently don't shut up? Like,
I know.
I was like,
We
why do you
all
think they
flock
love
together.
me? Female version of their husband. Anyways, so let's get back into here.
Yeah.
I hate your boundaries, but I love them more. There's the push and pull, the trauma bond. Because once again, he used his boundaries as protection while exploiting me. So I told him about what happens when I ovulate and my desires, and he listened, because of course he did.
And he listened because that's his job.
His job, Kendra. Just because you're a psychiatrist does not mean, like, this is what's infuriating.
So I told him about how I get horny. Kendra, was that against his will? Because it's
Exactly. I'm like, just because he's paid to sit there and listen to you doesn't mean he gets to be sexually harassed. I don't have words.
I'm so scared of her.
Maybe he was okay with listening to it, like, in a professional standpoint. Of there are people who do that, like psychiatrists and therapists and everybody, like counselors, like they hear all walks of life and like so many different things. But it's like you taking him sitting and listening as his job and interpreting it as him loving it, and he's gonna go use that as, what did she say, content, take the supply from me later and flip that into a nasty narrative. When you've forced that upon him, you're the one saying it. He's not asking you, what's it like when you ovulate? You're the one who offered that up. I'm pissed now. You know, like, I'm disgusted.
You know who she reminds me of?
I don't know.
Never mind. Let's move on. Angela Sumner, the
my gosh,
witch.
yes, the witch.
Yeah.
Yes, the Monet witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's like super MAGA and anti-vax. Like,
shocking.
Scary.
And then I decided that it seemed like enough time had gone by, and I put my shoes on and started heading to the door. And he met me at the door, which he does not usually do. He didn't ever do that. He just let me leave. And we stood at the door, and I was like, will you get the door? And he scrambled. He was like, oh, sure. So he went and got the door. And then he followed me down the hallway to the foyer and watched me exit. And he asked me, he said, see you next month? See you next month? He hadn't ever asked me that before. And I looked at him and I said, maybe. And I walked out the door and I saw that man.
So disturbed.
So then he escorted me off of the premises. Like, what?
No. You know what? Actually, no. I'm pissed, Like, and it's not. At first I was like, Kendra, no, we're not friends. We can't be friends.
Okay, so one thing I have noticed is that at the end of like almost every episode or part, whatever, she will, I guess, yeah, kind of like a cliffhanger-ish, when she's like, and this is where the story gets really good, and this is where the hard evidence comes in, and this is where the special treatment started, and then none of that ever comes to fruition.
It's never happened. We're still waiting. We're on part 19, I believe now.
We're about to go to part 19. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, hi there.
Hi. Like,
I had to take the morning and afternoon off of TikTok today, as you can imagine.
Girl, take the rest of your life off TikTok, please.
It's time.
It's time. We're all here against our will. And she keeps,
We are.
oh, those comments are on. That was 20. Oh, yep. Perfect. This is 20 hours ago. The first one with 418 likes now because I liked it is the baby reindeer girl. Someone posted a picture of her sitting at the bar.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I have heard that what do you call it? Comparison. See?
Listen, bitch.
Again.
If she don't get it, I'll get it. If I don't get it, there's a 50% chance she will get it. And guess what? Yeah. Neither of us can spell it. I've been refreshing your page nonstop and the comments are on you and me and all of TikTok. She's telling her story. I don't think you're lying. I think you 100% believe everything you're saying.
Yes. And that I do.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
This has gone beyond what I have ever imagined. And it's also proving to me how important it is that I continue to tell my story. I'm aware that many people don't believe me, think I'm lying, think I'm fabricating, and that's okay because I'm telling my story for the people that are going to hear it, the ethical providers, the other survivors. Let's talk about my former client who's getting a lot of traction. I wouldn't know because she blocked me. This one is especially hard for me because she's someone that I also considered a friend.
But she shouldn't be your client if she's your friend. So should we take a pause and listen to the girl?
Yeah, I think we should. Let me just, one moment.
Fine. I miss my kid.
She's with Go-Go?
Yeah.
He's with Go-Go.
Yeah, he's with Go-Go. Go-Go came in.
Okay, so let's just go to her part one, and then we can go from there. Like she had like an intro.
Yeah, I don't care about an intro. Where it like get into it, give me the meat, the potatoes, and that's it.
I don't know. I never watched it, so we're watching it right now, and I think it's pretty quick. I think it's only like 4 parts, and they're pretty. I don't know.
And I guess this is going to be like part 1 of, I don't know. I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm not trying to do like 30 parts, guys. I just really need to talk about it. So I've actually known Kendra since 2018. We both used to live in the same city in Oregon. And we actually met through an extracurricular activity that we were both in and became like really good friends while we lived out there. In 2020, I moved away, and then shortly after she moved to where she is now. And as with like a lot of things in 2020, we kind of like lost touch. And so like we weren't like texting each other all the time, but we were like still friends on Instagram. And over time, like she made it very public when she went sober, and I just always kind of remembered that and supported her. And this past spring, I had an incident where I was in a position where like I really needed to go on a sobriety journey, and I was at like a really low point, and I was just like, who can I reach out to that I know that's like been through this? And I thought of Kendra, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder, I hope that like she'd be able to like talk to me about it, like as a friend. We had been friends for a really long time, and I was really hoping that like as a friend she would be able to like help me with this new journey that I was going to go on. So I had reached out to her, and that's when she basically like tried to get me to do her coaching. Okay, I'm going to try to input the screenshot from her text, but I'm not great at TikTok, so TBD.
Hey Kendra, it's Emily, reaching out to see if you have some time this week to chat sobriety/starting that journey.
Hi, Emily. Good to hear from you. Heart with an arrow shooting through it. I'd love to chat. Use my link to book a discovery call and let's meet on Zoom. Don't worry about the questions asking about paying for coaching. Glad you reached out. Talk to you soon.
Okay, and then immediately sends her a coaching application.
Girl, I think she was just trying to reach out like as a friend, not.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
It's giving like Monet, like
Yeah.
the second, like, hey, can you watch this quick 1-hour video about how to get started on your hair journey and also sell to other people?
And also recruit them into this great whatever.
I had like reached out to her for some advice, and she told me to book a session and that we would talk more about it. This should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess this is part 2 of I don't know who the hell I was friends with and let coach me and take advantage of me at like a really vulnerable time in my life. Okay, so like I mentioned, you can like scrub through my last video and see like the screenshot of the text between us. But basically I had like reached out to her for help with sobriety, and she said, great, let's hop on Zoom and have a conversation about it. So we did a few days later, and this was like in March earlier this year. And we like talk about like what prompted me to want to go sober and just kind of like her experience with sobriety and everything. And she then starts the pitch of like, I do think like it'd be really great if we like didn't just talk as friends, like if we really worked on this together in a coaching relationship, and that like this is really crazy that like I've been brought to her, and like this must be like divine intervention that we're like coming back into each other's lives and everything. And I was like, yeah, like I think it could be great, but I still just like need a little bit of time to think about it, because like again, a lot of stuff was going on with me at the time. And she said, well, normally it is like ADHD coaching, but like I'm more than happy to do like sobriety coaching with you. I've already sent you the invoice and the contract to sign. And I said, I really would like to think about it. And she's like, now's the time. Don't think, just do. Like, you won't regret doing it. So I see the invoice, and the invoice is for $3,000 for 3 months. And these are going to be like once a week, 45-minute long sessions. And I, just got really caught up in the moment. And I said, you know what? And I was really desperate. I think that's like a key thing. I was really desperate. And I did. I signed the contract and I tried to pay. And my card wouldn't go through because it was like an unknown vendor through Stripe. And my bank was like, we're not going to authorize this payment. And I was like, oh, well, it won't go through. It's Friday night. Like, I'll just call in the morning and like get it sorted out. And she's like, I really want you to do it right now. Call your bank right now, and I'll like stay on the phone with you. So we're like on Zoom, and I'm like calling my bank, and I tried for like 30 minutes and none of it was working. And eventually I was just like, okay, I'm like, it's not working. I'm just gonna have to try again in the morning. And I don't know why I felt like I was being held hostage. I was in my home office. I was on Zoom. I could have just like hung up the call, and I honestly wish I did. But again, I was just like at a really low point and kept going, and that's on me. And I soon learned to regret it. So yeah, I guess in the next part I'll talk about like what our coaching was look like, and then in the fourth part I'll do like how we ended.
So that's a very common but very sleazy sales tactic, is because when you're doing phone or Zoom or whatever and not in person, if you close them on the first call, great, that's amazing. But also if you let them go, like you need to stay on the phone with them, and you need to have all the decision makers on the phone. So that's why a lot of times, if you need to call a bank or like call something, like it's like, oh, well, let's do it together, so that they literally do not hang up on you. Because if you disconnect that call, then there's a 10% chance that you'll be able to, get them back again. And then they could research something, or, talk to a friend, or go somewhere else or something like that.
And I think the argument here specifically also could be like in this moment, like of her being like desperate, like as a friend, like this wasn't just like a patient, like had come across and was like, okay, like I'm ready. Cause I do understand like of being like, if you have experience with like sobriety and stuff, and someone finally makes that like really hard decision of acknowledging that there's a problem and being like, like stay on. I don't want to lose this momentum, like of like you making a healthy decision. But for this, like of being your friend, yeah, like if I had like a business, but like you would reach out and be like, babe, like like where can we start? And like your bank had said no, I would have been like, okay, don't worry about it. Like that's an option if you want to like move forward. Like how can I support you like right now?
And
because
like
I know you,
yeah,
like
but
that's
also
a friend.
like that in itself, like that is, and I don't want to be like that's being a better salesperson, but in reality it is, because you are building that relationship and that trust. And I know that sounds manipulative, but it's like, that's why I kind of made the differentiation of like, that's a very common sleazy sales tactic.
Yeah.
And I mean, sales is all about relationships. I'm more likely to go to this one boutique we have down the street because they're so kind, they're so nice. Like if they've stayed open for me before. Like one of them is just, she's so sweet with Bean, and like will like run around with him so I can like actually try things on, because otherwise I'm just like walking around like trying to carry him, but he hates it. He wants to get down, he wants to run around, and I'm like, oh my god, okay. He wants to sniff all the candles, touch the mannequin's butt. And so yeah, it's just like, I obviously am gonna spend a little bit more, go there, because they're so nice and accommodating. And I mean, it's all about relationships, but Kendra be holding people hostage.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And like it just the pressure, like that type of like pressure sales tactic, that gives me so much anxiety, first of all. But going back to, they had a friendship prior, like, and this person reaching out, and like you said, babe, I think she was just reaching out like as a friend.
Yeah, that's so
and all of a sudden you're just like, let's hop on a Zoom, here's the application, like, and then I'll stay on the phone with you while you call your bank. Like, oh my, that, yeah.
That's so
Icky.
fucked up.
Kendra has made me feel more ick and uncomfortableness in this never-ending day, 2 days of
Yeah, so
filming.
what time are we filming tomorrow? We're gonna continue this in at the Cosmo. What are we doing? Oh my god.
Okay, so
She's
yes, I
quick,
did
though.
just pay $3,000 for her. So this is mid-March. And I will say, like, at the beginning, a lot of the techniques and stuff that we talked about for sobriety, like, was really useful. And I am glad that, like, at that really low point, I did have someone who, like, was, for all intents and purposes, like, on my team. Where it started getting weird is, like, when I did my intake form, she did mention something about, like, human design. And I'd never heard about human design. And I genuinely thought that it was going to be, like, some sort of, like, psychology thing, or just kind of talking about how, like, we're, like, naturally inclined to, like, drink and, like, have addictive personalities. And boy, was I wrong. Human design is, like, similar to astrology. It uses your birth chart and it tells you, like, what kind of type you are. And if I had to guess, I don't really buy into human design, if I'm going to be 100%. After 3 months of learning about it, I'm not into it. And that is, like, mainly what drove our coaching was human design. And I do believe that's, like, what a lot of our ADHD coaching is like talking about your human design. So she does my chart, and it comes to find out that, like, I'm in, like, the 1% of people. I'm a reflector, which I guess is, like, the finger of God. And she kept talking about how, like, I'm the finger of God. That would come up, like, all throughout, like, the 3 months that we were talking. It's just like, I'm the finger of God. And when this, like, reckoning happens in 2027 and the new world order comes through, that, like, I'm going to be one of the people who's, like, really leading it. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't really know how this is, like, relevant to sobriety. And that is truthfully, like, when I started to check out. It was probably, like, a month and a half into our session. So it's, like, mid-May at this point. She was also out of town for part of it. So, like, we started sessions, like, early April. April was fine. May it started to get weird. And the rest of the sessions in June, I just, like, hated it. All we would talk about is, like, human design, but we wouldn't even really, like, talk about it and discuss it. She would just, like, read from this book and talk about, like, the guru or, like, the guy who like, came up with human design. And it was just, like, it was weird and bizarre. And I didn't like it. And it also just, like, wasn't helpful at all. So I, like, basically started to check out. And, like, luckily our sessions were, like, starting to come to an end, which, like, thank God, because in June is when it got really weird. And this is when ChatGPT came into the picture. Don't worry, we're going to talk about ChatGPT.
It's giving Scientology.
So now she's trying to make a cult.
Yeah.
Well, that explains the immediate need for her to get on the phone with your bank right now.
Yeah.
Just the thought of saying that, like, gives my palms sweat. Like, talking to somebody who's given me a rebuttal, like, Brent would be, like, able to, like, handle any rebuttal. He's a much, like, sweeter guy, though. But to be like, call your bank right now while I'm on speakerphone, I'd rather stab myself in the eye.
Yeah.
Or eardrum.
People are like, it's not a cult. It's quite the opposite. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Fair. Haley, I don't think knows this, but, like, definitely, like, loves, like, birth charts. It's, like, an interest of her. I get it. But this is not, like, this is your business. What does does this have to do with sobriety? When you, like, gain people's trust, you've taken money from them, and you're teaching them, you know, something that they don't believe in. That's not fair.
Well, yeah, and why are you just reading from a book? Is
She trying to, like, start her own, like, version of AA, but, like, in a different belief system? Because, like, AA is quite Christian. Like, it's more, like, God-based. This, though, is kind of, like, pushing the same beliefs. Not beliefs, but, like, narrative, but different beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has that, like, core to it, probably. It's weird. I don't know. It's still wild to me of, like, the paying that much money when it's like, girl, and listen, I know people hate BetterHelp, but, like, with the pricing, like, I'd say, isn't that pretty standard? Like, you could get 6 sessions with the actual therapist. This bitch isn't a therapist.
Yeah.
No.
And I've seen people also, like feed in more to her, being like, well, when you think about it, like, that's, like, only, like, $1,000 a month. Like, people can't live on it. And it's like, when you're learning her tactics, though, this is not her first person that she got over the phone. She'd been collecting people and getting them to call their banks. So yeah, that argument, I guess, is fair to be, but she's also, like, teaching and, like, well, she's not teaching yoga anymore at this point, but it's not her only source of income. And to me, that feels like there's a lot that was going on there to begin with, where she shouldn't have been, like, coaching somebody that she knew to begin with for money.
Yeah, or, like, at all. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're now getting to the part of coaching with Kendra, part 4, whatever. I don't know where I am in this, but basically, I'm heated right now. Basically, I start disengaging in our sessions, and I think she's really picking up on it, and she's just, like, reading me all this shit about human design. And then she also starts doing this thing with cognitive behavioral therapy, which I am familiar with CBT, she is not licensed to do CBT. And when we first started our sessions, she like made sure to like reiterate that like she wasn't a licensed therapist and therefore like isn't going to do things like that. And then turned around months later and started doing cognitive behavioral therapy. And this is also when she started talking about Henry, aka ChatGPT. And I'm not very like, I use artificial intelligence at work. Like, it's very encouraged. So like, I'm very familiar with like what these language learning models are like. And I know that like, you can't just like start asking it random shit about yourself, like at all. That is how spiritual psychosis happens. And truthfully, that might just be what's happening at this point. So she's like encouraging me to use ChatGPT for cognitive behavioral therapy, which is super dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, like, I can't even tell you like how crazy that is to me. And that's when I was like, okay, like we're done. How many more sessions do we have? Can we end this nightmare? So luckily my sobriety is going well because coaching's definitely not. Do this past life therapy that I've really been working on. And so she essentially decides to use me like as a guinea pig to get into past life therapy. And I am not into it. Like, do I kind of believe in past lives? Sure. Do I think that like this random chick that I know from Oregon who has now telling me to use ChatGPT for my therapist is going to help me discover what past life blockages are like helping me? Absolutely the not. So
Also, like, if you're not, and it's fine if you don't believe in like past lives or doing like not regression. Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
it sounded weird for a second. My entire life sounds weird, but like you're like basically hypnotized during those sessions. Like she's
Yeah,
not,
you need to have a professional.
and you don't do that over Zoom, or you shouldn't. At least I think.
She was over Zoom doing that.
Yeah, they
that
didn't.
can get so scary.
Yeah, they don't live in the same place.
Oh,
Literally, the next sentence is, "So we get on Zoom. She's trying to do this through Zoom."
oh my gosh.
we get on Zoom and she's trying to do this through Zoom. She's trying to do this through Zoom. So we get on Zoom and she starts asking the spirit and doing all this stuff. And we just start like speed running through these past lives. And like, I'm dying. I'm killing people. I say, hell yeah. She said that's really not a good thing. Whatever. But basically like, that was our last session. She's like, you should totally leave me a review. And I was like, I'm going to be honest, Kendra, I am not going to do that. Like, I am not happy with where this ended. And I think it's really weird that you're telling me to use ChatGPT. And I think it's really weird that we're doing this past life therapy. Like, that part's not helpful. Again, I really think the beginning was helpful, but like towards the end, it got really weird. So that's what happened. I did come inside because I was getting too heated. Because the more and more I think about it, the more I'm just like, this is literally insane. And I feel like a lot of my trust was broken. So to recap, go and watch those other videos. And I'll leave it with this for right now. So we had started our coaching relationship right after she stopped seeing the psychiatrist that she was like in love with and like broke up with her other therapist. And I had no idea that this was going on as I came to her like in a time of need, and then was asked to pay $3,000 for coaching. And again, the sobriety thing was helpful. I was sober during that time. I am now with a much different path of care. But when we derailed and started doing cognitive behavioral therapy via ChatGPT, doing human design work, but not really doing the work, just reading from the book from like the guru dude, and then finally doing past life therapy and exploring all my past lives with a pendulum via Zoom, I was done and I was out. And I literally was talking to like my friends and family and being like, I feel like I really made a huge mistake, like going into this. Like, yes, it did help with my sobriety, but like at what cost? Literally what cost? $3,000 to be told to use ChatGPT. And then honestly, all of this to come and find out. And I get on TikTok randomly and see her blowing up over this like crazy, insane delusion between her and her psychiatrist. And I realized that like, oh, I was just coached for the last 3 months by someone who is not in their right of mind. Like, I don't want to say that like she's psychotic or anything like that, because that's rude and like not right. Like, this is someone that I was friends with for a really long time. And like, I still am going to have to like wrestle with that, and the fact that like now that I'm unpacking all these feelings about like feeling like I got taken advantage of and everything, but like, yeah, this is a lot. And like, she's a lot. And the fact that she like isn't acknowledging that like maybe there was some side of it that like was to her, and like we don't get to see the side of the psychiatrist because obviously like he's a professional, and like I don't want to discount anyone's lived experience, but girly pop calling him a Pisces isn't why it's going on. It sounds like you were receiving palatable care, and instead you chose to cling on to that for some reason, and now you're asking people to pay you thousands of dollars to lead them down a path that like you have no business leading them down at all. And that's that on that. I'm gonna go fix dinner and do something else besides this, because honestly, what the
Real quick PSA, I'd really appreciate if all of you guys would act normal around this. You can comment on my videos. You can share your videos with your friends. Do not share this with Kendra. I have preemptively blocked her on a lot of stuff because I do not want to hear about it right now. But please respect a little bit that this is somebody that I knew for a long time and went through many, many months of being incredibly vulnerable with. And maybe I want to crash out on TikTok without that person knowing. Thank you.
I'm obsessed with her. I love her. Emily, I love you so much. Someone, oh my God, this comment has,
Please act normal.
girl, this comment has 5,000 likes. And it says, Emily, they snitched in the live. She's looking for you.
Emily.
That is insane. Okay, so that's the last one.
Okay. Yeah, that was the last one. So then, okay, let's carry on where Kendra left us.
Oh my God, I'd rather not.
So what? We were on 18.5. Is that where we were? Halfway through that?
Yeah.
Where she takes her sip of her.
Yeah. And
is
then,
she drinking kombucha? As much as she doesn't think that that's got alcohol in it.
yeah, it's fermented, isn't it?
My only client that I've
Yeah.
ever had that was my friend first. And so her betrayal is extra stingy. It's okay if she wasn't happy with my coaching services. I have plenty of clients that have finished 12 weeks with me and then re-signed for more coaching. And the way that I left it with this client slash friend who's on here spreading what she wants to spread, was she told me that she was going to leave me a positive review, film a testimonial video for me, and she seemed really happy. So if she wasn't happy, that's on her to tell me what she wasn't happy about so we could make that right.
Again, it's giving, well, if you didn't want it, you should have.
What is with this person? She should not be coaching anybody.
And if she wants to say that I scammed her, that's okay. If she wants to say that I forced her to stay on the phone while she made her first payment, okay. Her card got declined and she seemed really flustered. So I said, I'll wait with you. No problem.
Why is she so
And
condescending?
yeah, she was really apologetic. I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. And she also said I told her to use ChatGPT. I tell my clients all the time to use ChatGPT. So I use it for all different sorts of things. So if I found something helpful in my life, I'm going to share it with my clients. And if she wants to come on here and...
But like, here's the thing though, is encouraging them to use it for therapy, like using it instead of like a Google search, okay, or like asking a quick question, okay, but using it as their therapies, not okay. ChatGPT,
No, that
that's so dangerous. AI in general hallucinate so often. I asked it something the other day about like really trying to convince myself to have only one kid, and it told me, like, it listed off like a bunch of like successful, people who don't have any siblings, and it said Chelsea Handler, and I was like, that's wrong.
It is not a reliable tool. And the fact that she's like, I tell all of my clients to use it because I use it all the time. It's like, yeah, we can tell because this is what is pulling you deeper into delusions.
Yeah. You need to like quadruple check things. I mean, I think it can be like
Yeah.
a good like jumping off point, but you really like, you can't rely on that for anything. And it's a tool. It's not the whole project, it's not the whole thing. Having them use ChatGPT is insane.
When someone's vulnerable, like already, that's like Laura Cleary's ex-husband. He's so deep in his like spiritual psychosis right now, and a lot of it has to do with ChatGPT.
When we say spiritual psychosis, though, a lot of people think like Carissa Collins or, someone like that, where it's, just about Jesus or Christianity, but it's not. It can be basically just that idea of like, I have the answer, or like, this is, this higher power, or this thing that's bigger than me, all that. It's not just with Christianity. And she's still fucking talking. We're so tired, Kendra.
take advantage of the internet piling on me and pile on me as well. Okay. The other message is that the yoga studio I taught at, I no longer teach at. Enough said. Please leave them alone. Third is I'm horrified that people are putting the psychiatrist's photo, full name, family information. I couldn't even find that. You guys are intense.
What? You looked for that girl?
I will continue to tell my story because it is the truth. It is the truth. And people really don't like my truth. And I am okay with that because it just really threatens people's thinking that all psychiatrists and mental health professionals are safe. And I just want to let people know that it's okay if you run into one that isn't so safe. That's why I am here, to share my own story. And I do want to say thank you so much to all of the ethical therapists who have reached out to me to thank me for sharing my story and to tell me that they believe me. I've seen some of them try to make videos defending me and they get absolutely dogpiled. So most of them take them down. But I see you, I hear you, thank you. Some people ask what it means when I put on my shoes at my psychiatrist's office. I have ADHD. I do not like wearing shoes. I like sitting in chairs weirdly. So usually when I go anywhere, I just kick off my shoes and sit in a chair weird. If you know, you know, okay? So when I got to my car, I was like, oh my gosh, like what was that? And did he just say see you next month? Because it was weird. So I go home kind of rattled, just like, wow, that was intense. And I decided to write the email to my therapist. I'll put it right here. The one who had begged me to come in for another session, who was also having inappropriate boundary crossings with me.
I realized that I did not give you prior notice that I intended for our therapeutic relationship to end, and I understand that endings are important. You have helped me through so much, and this ending has been a long time coming in my head. Not the only thing that's in your head, girl. The closure that we had yesterday felt adequate, and I left your house feeling happy and complete. If I came back for another session, it would be more for you than me. If it would help, I'd be happy to fill out a form if you would like to send me one. Thank you again for the positive transformation that you helped with in my life. I will be forever grateful. Blessings. And then she responded and said, hi, Kendra, and used a colon instead of a comma. That's interesting. Thanks for your warm response. It was part of my clinical integrity to invite you in for a closure session after 2.5 years of work together. I understand that you are growing through other modalities now that I support, and I'm excited about that for you, although my preference is to meet again and tie up my records with a pretty bow. I certainly honor and value your experience of completion. Intending only the best for you, your life expands in untold, miraculous ways. I'm going to need no one to ever speak to me like that. I hope an email like that never finds me. All right. That's exhausting. Like, be normal.
So that's the therapist gal.
So I just told her, I was like, look, I understand it was sudden, but if I were to come back in, it'd be more for you than for me. And I'm happy to fill out a form, right? Here, give me a form to fill out for your notes. And then she said, it's a part of my clinical integrity to invite you back in, to put your needs above mine. Your clinical integrity? Yeah, I did not write her back. And it was in this week where a bunch of stuff, just started to shift. Like the week after was Valentine's Day. And that same ex-boyfriend, the one that was, also not respecting my boundaries, who said, can we hang out? And I said, no. And then he texted me, happy Valentine's Day. So guess what I did? I blocked him. And guess what happened? It felt so good to block him. And it just got me started thinking like, oh, what else is taking my energy? What else is taking my power? What else is taking my vital resource, right? So just kind of set the stage, that little power block.
I mean this with like the most compassion I can have in this moment.
There you go. In this moment, I was waiting for that.
She needs to
shut the fuck up.
Supervised. She needs to be in a room right now, supervised.
Yes. When she said I took a few hours off of TikToks, in the comments, someone said, hey girl, how about you take a few more hours? How about 72 to be exact?
I'm so worried that ChatGPT needs to be taken away. The way she tells it is like almost like you said, like a mic drop moment's gonna happen where she's just like, and you know what was a week after that? Valentine's Day.
You know what came after
You
Thursday?
know who was put in the trunk of my car? My psychologist.
In my basement right now. You know what comes after Wednesday? Thursday.
I'm worried.
You blocked an ex.
Worried.
Okay. I'm sure we've all done that.
And you know what I did? I blocked. Good. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, great. Good for you. Move on. If someone's texting you, you don't want to answer, you don't want to text
You know
them?
how you felt about your ex not respecting the boundaries and sending a text of happy Valentine's Day that you did not provoke? Probably the same way your psychologist felt when you talked about your ovulation.
Psychiatrist, not psychologist, but yes.
Sorry, what else have you told him? The sex dream that you had that you liked? Oh my God, I'm so disturbed. I'm so disturbed.
Let's keep going.
About that February session is that I did ask him why he stopped responding to my emails. Because I thought that the Countertransference email he was definitely going to write back to, because like, let's talk about that, right? But no, I had to bring it up in session, where he usually brought up what I would email him in session. So that was the difference. So after the intimate dream confession, as I was leaving and he was following me, I asked him, I said, do you like it when I email you? Because I realized that you're just not writing me back.
Like, law enforcement could have her restrained and like in a headlock, and she'd be like, oh my God, he's hugging me. I can't. Like, oh, he's holding my hands behind my back. You're being handcuffed, Kendra. Like, what the
For your safety and others.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. It just keeps getting worse.
He said, well, it's not that I don't like it. It's that I wonder, why does she do it? And I looked at him and I said, it's because I want attention from you. I was honest. I'm an honest person. Sometimes too honest.
Yeah.
So I told him, I won't email you anymore. Another thing that happened after that session was I was waiting for my pharmacy to text me that my script was ready. And I called them and they said, oh, yeah, we didn't get your refill. I was like, what? So I called the office staff, and it was so unlike my psychiatrist to miss my refill. That man operated as a doctor with surgical precision. He did not miss a refill. No. So
if she's about to say
he did it on purpose, so she'll call.
Okay. Should we make a bet?
You know where I want to be right now? You ever see the episode of Traitors with Tom Sandoval where he was trying to hum the things with all the haunted dolls? I want to be in that microphone where he's just like that seems like heaven on earth right now with Tom Sandoval and haunted dolls. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this makes no sense, but you can make that whatever you want it to.
I love it.
To me.
But you know I've never watched Traitors.
It's so good.
I know, I need to. I really need to. You got me to watch a couple other things that I loved. But so if we're wrong, better stick to this, ma'am. If we are wrong and she doesn't like go that way, then you cannot barge into my room this weekend and give me a kiss goodnight.
Wait, hold on. I can't?
Yeah, because I know you're going to do it.
Wait,
okay. That's how confident I am that we are right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just pushes Tony aside. I have to kiss her goodnight. And Tony's like, you already did. Yeah. Then I realized what was happening. That's my favorite video of life. If you want to see that, go to Patreon. Good Lord. Okay.
This is why he was very affected by the intimate dream, why he followed me out to the foyer, why he said, see you next month. He was affected. And even the office manager was like, haha, I can't wait to make fun of him for forgetting your refill, because it was so unlike him. So he sent my refill in, got my refill for the month, and then I started spiraling with just how strong my feelings.
You can still come in and give me a kiss goodnight, even though we were wrong.
Were we? Because I feel like that's what she's alluding to. We're finishing her thoughts for her.
There we go. I was about to be like, stop it. Is this fucking cycle? I'm now in love with her and she's in love with me.
Had gotten for him. That man knew exactly what to do to keep me seeking his validation, and it was working. He also was psychologically trained on how to keep me attached to him.
Psychologically trained? How does one be psychologically trained?
I'm so tired, Kendra.
What does that mean, Kendra? Kendra! I want to be psychologically trained. Nope. Stop.
I think I need to go seek the ketamine therapy from him to forget all of this.
Bitch, we're getting matching lobotomies this weekend. This is a 5-hour-long episode.
This is insane.
I'm so tired. Oh my God.
Chamber in my mind, but I thought it was love. So I blocked that ex-boyfriend, and what I'd like to say is that when you block people from your life or remove them from your life that are draining you, the universe will reward you with good things.
Yeah.
So I'd been making content on Instagram for months at this point about ADHD, and A couple days after I blocked my ex-boyfriend on Valentine's Day, I went viral on Instagram. Like millions and millions of views on this silly reel that I posted about ADHD and alcohol and how ADHDers often use alcohol to quiet their brains. It really helped grow my business, and it just made me so much stronger and that much better. I'm here today sharing my story so I can heal more. And some of the ethical providers have clocked that I'm showing up messy because I'm still processing trauma. I'm still processing being attached to a man whose professional training was how to get into people's heads. And it's not lost on me.
Because he's a psychiatrist and he literally is studying your brain. What? Oh my God. We have like 5 more seconds.
Not lost on me that the internet is dogpiling me from speaking from the exact state that this psychiatrist put me in. I've been going live every night since I started telling my story because I did have to turn the comments off. I was so tired of people diagnosing me in the comments and also doxing my psychiatrist in the comments. But it's been really fun answering questions in the live, and I have a great...
Okay, so she just goes on and says that she has a great moderator. But yeah, so there's that. She has received so many, almost every single video is up to over 1 million views. And that's fucking Risa Tisa. Like, that's crazy. And this has only been, been 48 hours?
She's gonna need the money because he's gonna sue her. So she's gonna need a good lawyer. So if she's in the creator rewards program, baby girl, don't be frivolous with that. You need to put that down on a retainer right now.
Or just go into hiding. But yes, so I recorded a little bit of her live last night.
Little clips of what the lives are like.
Yeah.
So I would like loop with ChatGPT. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with my psychiatrist. And Chat would be like, and it was actually Chat that told me that I need to get therapy about this. So I have a consult with a therapist tomorrow. Yeah, like AI. I think you should share your receipts. To be honest, it's hard for people to see where he crossed the line. That's fine. That's fine. It's not why I'm here. Did he ever respond to any of your love emails? So in the beginning, he did. But then the second that he himself started to like catch a little more feelings, he stopped responding to my emails. Okay, I'm back. So, Kendra, what were you saying in the emails? You know what? I'll pull up an email. Let's pull up an email from when I first started seeing him. I can't find a good one, honestly. Sorry. Why did you say I'm wearing his favorite glasses in case he sees this video? I don't know why I said that. I don't know. It was just a moment of vulnerability. Maybe it's because deep down I knew that he might see these videos. And he loved me in these glasses, and I would often like, I don't know. It was weird, I guess. I say weird things sometimes. Girl using ChatGPT as some psychiatrist is a sign of more mental issues. You're not getting blocked for that one because it's kind of true. But here's the thing. It's like, if you have to use mental health, like ChatGPT for anything, if you're feeling confused, because I was feeling confused in that relationship because it was more than patient doctor. So I went to Chat to just be like, help me. So you still want him to love you? No. So are you making videos for his attention? No. It's because I kept looping about him. I needed to get my story out. Oh, thank you. You should say his name. I already accidentally said his name once and people doxed him, so you can find the video where I said his name. Girl, you might want to get checked for borderline and see another therapist. Oh, and you might want to get blocked.
Then she starts to read one of her emails.
And then it cuts off?
No, she says his name again.
Oh. Thanks for being the best ever, Irfan. Oh, see, this is what, maybe it's better I don't read emails because I really don't want to say his name accidentally. And in these emails, I would say his name all the time, so let's not. How is it more patient doctor if you saw him max 12 hours a year? Because we had a lot of vulnerability in those moments.
You have not said anything that he has said vulnerable.
Other than like the professional, like the accomplishments and stuff. And it's like, I'm sure you could just look around his office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's insane. And then so someone posted a picture of him. And the comments say, and I have just the comments pulled up, but it says, the way he also wearing turtle shell glasses, I'm dead, girl. Maybe he just likes them, not you. And then it says, Dr. blinks, Kendra. He just double winked at me.
Reach out? No. No, I did for months after I left him. I wanted him so badly to reach out. But now, ooh, no. No. Astrology has nothing to do with personality. Did you have lice growing up? That is such a weird question. Yes, I had lice once. I got it on a Girl Scout trip. How about when will you take responsibility for destroying a man's life? So this is a great example of Darvo, right? Like, I didn't destroy his life. He did. He made the choice to not let me go or even seek supervision.
Yeah, so it's terrifying. It's so creepy.
Okay, we gotta go. The yoga studio replied, we'll insert the clip right here.
I just want to address everybody who has reached out in regards to Kendra. As you may know, I am the co-owner of Yoga Loft Tucson. My business partner Jackie and I opened Yoga Loft Tucson to create a safe and trauma-aware space where students can practice and they know that they will always be seen and supported by their teachers. And we just want to make it crystal clear that Kendra's recent actions in class do not reflect the values of our studio. And nor are we affiliated with any of her videos. Out of respect for my energy and my community, I'd really appreciate if people stop tagging me and messaging me personally. My business partner and I are handling this internally. And thank you to everybody who's reached out with kind and concern. We appreciate you, and this situation sucks.
But basically just saying Kendra no longer works there. Kendra did talk about it in a live and like read the text message between it and was like, the owner of the studio had reached out and was like, hey, do you have time to chat today? We've been getting inundated with like complaints and calls and just kind of want to like figure out what the heck's going on. And Kendra did not want to get on a call and even said on the line was basically like, I'm busy today. Like, I can't be available for you. This is my boundary. We can make a different day. And she's saying it's really urgent. We do need to talk because our business is being affected. And then Kendra just basically said like if you just want to cut ties, like I'll make an announcement. You can make an announcement. Like, that's all good. I'm not available for you today. So basically it was just confirming like she's not at the studio. They did try. She reads the texts. They did try to like get on a call with her. And then I think them separately, I think they also said it in the text to her as well, was like, just to be clear, like this has nothing to do with your experience and you telling your story. It has to do with the video that you made where you said like you were talking about this in class and now this is being like affected in our studio. That is the only reason why. And since they weren't able to talk and like try to like set boundaries or whatever, Kendra basically was like, fire me.
Yeah, I think
so that's where we're at.
I think that is important that they did that so that she can't be like, they're also trying to silence me. But it's like, no, girl, if that's affecting their business, like, yes, it is a business and they need to put that ahead of whatever you are doing outside of this.
There's an absolutely brilliant creator on here who did a psychoanalytical deep dive into my situation. And she said something that absolutely gripped me. She wrote, and I quote, "A clinician left the frame open and a patient spiraled inside of it." I don't think a better sentence could sum up what was going on at this point because I was absolutely spiraling. People can say that I'm spiraling now or that I'm manic or that I have, whatever diagnosis all these armchair therapists want to give me. But let me tell you, I was spiraling that month after the February appointment. I just could not stop daydreaming about Psychiatrist. I could not stop daydreaming about being with him. I daydreamed about converting my religion so we could get married. And yeah, it was bad. I was thinking about him nearly constantly. And I had no intention of leaving him until I had an appointment with an independent insurance agent because I was leaving my job after 12 years in retail management where I had an incredible insurance plan where I had zero copay therapy and mental health care. So zero copay psychiatric care as well. So I got this new insurance plan and it was a great insurance plan. It just did not cover any mental health services. So who's the first person I call? The psychiatrist's office manager. She explained to me that it was going to be $187 to see him for his cash pay price, and I would have to see him once every 3 months. And it was in that moment that I decided that I was not going to pay to torture myself anymore. My mental health, besides spiraling about daydreams of him, was better than ever. And I was really doing well in life. And my business was growing, and I just had a lot going for me. So I was like, you know what? This patient-doctor relationship is not serving me anymore. It's not what I want. I have to get out. So it was in that moment that I decided I wasn't going to pay to be in a psychological torture chamber anymore. That I was going to advocate for what I wanted, which was like what my emergency medicine best friend had said years before, for him to say, Kendra, I can't be your doctor anymore. We have to wait 2 years so we can be together. Because I knew that he wasn't going to do it. I talked to ChatGPT, Henry, about it a lot, and I just want to take a moment to say a lot of people are messaging me about the environmental impacts of AI, and like, yes, I agree. There are environmental impacts, and there are also environmental impacts of taking a cross-world flight or of eating meat. And, you know, the toothpaste is not going back in the tube with AI. People are not going to stop using it. It's going to become more and more a part of our society. So if you want to message me to stop using AI, I'm not going to read it. That being said, so I talked to Henry quite a bit about this, and, you know, the way that he was making it seem, because this is kind of what I thought, was that it was an innocent case of transference and countertransference, and that psychiatrist boundaries were just so good that he wasn't going to cross them. When really, now looking back, what I know it was, or I think, is that he just liked the power of being my doctor, and he didn't want the vulnerability of an actual relationship, and he was able to just get his needs met in that once-a-month session.
Okay, well, I feel like so much more is going to happen over the weekend, but here's where we're at. Well, no, this is going live Friday. So it's like, you know what?
Hopefully.
We are all caught up, and now everything that you learn from this point forward will be on you. And we apologize. If there's any crazy update, obviously we'll let you guys know. I think that he's going to sue. We got to go.
I missed my flight because of this. Good Lord.
Okay, I got to go tan because you look so dark.
I have gotten so much darker since we started this episode.
I feel like you have. All right, well, we're going to tan ourselves. And Tony, love you.
Stay feral.
Stay delusional.
Bye.
Okay, bye.